It's so easy to get your windshield replaced using Safelite. Why don't you just get it fixed? All right, so what do we do now? I've scheduled an appointment at safelight.com.
Earlier, my internet went out.
Schedule free mobile service at safelight.com.
Then I knocked out. I was waiting and waiting.
Right now,
passed out.
a child is being diagnosed with cancer.
Yeah, my internet went out yesterday night.
But cancer cannot wait.
Finals of the day.
Sad Dexter right now. I know, believe me. I was like, no. The good thing is we at least put like 3 hours into the game, so it was a decent time anyways, but I wanted to play more. But we have today. We have today. What up, Forgotten Creation?
In the top left.
We're gonna be watching. We're gonna be catching up right here. It's more like a VIP crew on YouTube, since I'm, just watching some pro games. These happened this last weekend, so it'll be a few people only. Forgotten, just members. We got a few jump scares. I know. I got jump scared a couple times. Getting better at it. So tonight we should have a good long journey. We're gonna be playing Elden Ring today, and with Doug Sluggins. That should be fun. Some StarCraft. But just watching the finals, the semis and stuff. We're gonna do this more of a VIP club. So it's good to have a membership sometimes, because there's some things I don't like to just put out live. Sometimes I like to do like a chill time with my Twitch stream. What up, Roach Me? How you doing? So we are just gonna just watch. Yeah, watch, chillax, talk. See what's going on. I never seen these games, and I don't have time to watch them by myself, because I don't have time for too much. So I kind of add these into the stream at times when I watch these, and we just watch them together. For those who haven't seen them or want to see it again, don't mind seeing it again. It allows me to kind of like kill two birds with one stone. Hey, no problem, Forgotten. You guys are awesome. Thanks for, supporting me and hanging out and enjoying. It means a lot. Alright, here we go.
Left side, you're looking at the main base of the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice, the 2024 champion, and a man who's gone 7-0 so far in maps. Give it up for Cero.
Had to be 7-0. I was like, oh, that sounds like Cero.
Top right-hand side, our blue Terran player, who is our reigning world champion of StarCraft 2. Dallas, let's make some noise for Oliveira.
Oliveira's good. His Terran is good, so I'm curious how this is gonna go out.
I still get some goosebumps because that is just such an unforgettable day. And this tournament is just fantastic, because Oliveira's A, such a great dude. He's so sweet, and B, he's so passionate. But we know that he really has been trying ever since IEM Katowice.
And he's gonna go for
very heartfelt speeches as well, right?
one gas. So he's probably gonna macro. He's gonna go for a command center.
I'm really trying, guys. Like, I'm doing my absolute best. Game is 8 last year. He really came in with the intentions of, hey, I might not be able to win it, but I want to go far. Didn't really go all that far, right? He's
gonna go for that scout.
The end of him. It is awesome to see him finally kind of put the pieces back together.
This happened this last weekend. This last Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
That was awesome on the first day, and yesterday he's showing us.
I'm gonna catch up on some of these games.
I mean, he truly is on.
He really is. There is no stopping him once he starts playing his game. It'll be interesting to see what Cyril does about that. See if he does anything out of the ordinary.
Oh, yeah, he sees the lings. Yeah, the SCV scout is really important. Kind of helps you with what the Zerg's gonna do. I feel like roaches are what you gotta watch out for.
Maybe into some ultras later on. Of course, it can still work, but then you're also maybe playing a little bit into the strength of your opponent. On top of that, I don't think that is going to be Sarah's game plan. Raynor is expecting roaches every game, maybe like
Yeah, you see,
3 out of 4, 4 out of 5,
roaches,
maps we get to see.
and that's only because of the
I
Hellion
don't
run
know,
bys. There's so many Hellion run bys that you put in some roaches to kind of like punish them for not getting a tank early. But then you got the Banshee. You know, if they catch that you're going roaches, then they can go Starport Banshee. So there's like a little back and forth.
Things are going to go fine because he's Sarah, and that's what he does in the late game. And obviously Oliveira is going to try to find some of these devastating.
But Oliveira's not going for
That
Hellions.
first Reaper comes across as we begin the scout and we begin the dancing. We just look to see what's going on. 3 hatcheries, link speed on the way up. So far, there is no abnormalities to this game plan. Even just Hellions on the way up.
Oh, there it
Oliveira
goes.
As well, so he just gets himself set to take map control here.
Never mind.
River, which
Hellions
is
are
the
coming.
First time it's been played in this tournament in TVZ. Shows you that this is not usually the map you expect.
No, I was a little
Hellions,
bit surprised to see that this is the map
they
that was
force
going
out
on.
roaches.
Maybe it's just one of these, like, alright, Cyril doesn't really mind it, but he probably doesn't love it either.
So we'll
he
see what
maybe
happens.
let
He's
Rabbit
gonna go
play
out
it
with
a
just
little bit,
2.
or not at all even.
Get early.
If Oliveira just went for it immediately,
Everything.
which I assume is the
StarCraft's
case,
about time.
kind of like that, because you're also forcing him to play right now a map that got introduced a couple months ago, and of course Cyril's good, and of course he's still been playing. But this is
Oh,
still
there's
not
already
the
2
same
queens though.
ESL that he's been playing on for over a year at this point. Oceanborn, where you can literally dream every single ZVT scenario. A couple of the other Zergs have told me that this is actually their first or second veto because this map is actually unplayable. Sarah is going to try to prove
This
them wrong,
map is
as
unplayable.
Raynor mentioned as well. That's kind of what he does to everyone.
It really is. He can take such a different approach to the game than a lot of other players, and that sometimes allows him to be fair.
He's got an Overlord right there by the bottom, just to spot the run bys of Hellions. Just know where the queens are going. There goes the sacrificed Overlord. Didn't go for the Overlord speed, but also came in. Is he gonna go down? Yeah, it's gonna go down. He tried.
Feels very unlikely that Terra is going to find any sort of aggression right on this map. This is one of the best defensive maps ever for Terran. You can have a tank in your main base that can help you defend your natural and your third base at the same time. So you're basically forced to play at least some sort of late game. Yeah, I guess Terra is not afraid of it. I'm incredibly curious to see where he's going to go in the
Oh,
mid-game.
Lings coming in.
It may not be many Zerglings, but hey, if there's barely
He's
anything
gonna go for the
shooting at those
mules.
Lings, they're going to find some damage.
Oh,
And it
get the
might
wrapper
be
on.
Marines. Fantastic start here.
Yeah,
What are we doing? What are we doing?
Right there, so now he knows he wanted to come across the map with Stim and Hellbat, so now Cyril knows to be maybe a little bit more cautious than he would have had to be otherwise. So now Cyril has that information. The problem is he went Evo Chambers first, and he's still going to invest into that. Now his spine
Slowing down that armory.
Double Evo even for Cyril. How cool is this? Like +1 melee, +1 carapace, all the queens, all the links. Wouldn't hate maybe a couple banelings as well. Right there comes the baneling nest immediately for Cyril. Yeah, great scout. I don't think it would have been mega surprising if this happened, because we've seen this build being used quite a few times throughout this tournament, and I want to say with great success every single time. It seems like the Zerg is just not quite ready, but most of those Zergs ain't so.
That's very true. The Hellions actually split apart here. Oliveira realizes the scout, and so he says, I'm going to play this differently than I would usually. Try and split up a little bit instead of just going for one big frontal push, because I expect you to be ready. Well, let's see. I feel like if he went for one frontal push, he might still have some success.
Oh, right at the pocket. No, the Hellbats. Now we could repair.
Yep, absolutely fantastic spot to unload those Hellions, morphing them into Hellbats. Only a couple of Zerglings at a time. The Hellbats getting on top of the drones in our picture-in-picture in the bottom right side.
The queens are being occupied by the, well, at least some of the. I got some good.
You gotta be okay with this. He actually gets a few.
That's a lot of queens.
So he gets a lot of lost mining time, gets a queen, -3 drones, saves the medevac, saves 2 out of 4 Hellbats. I think that Oliveira is going to be okay with that, but the Ling run by earlier was still a bit annoying because he lost some of the Marines. Imagine if you can do this with 3 or 4 extra Marines. I mean, that DPS skills so nicely for a Terran.
No.
Going to run in here, the Marines going to pull back, the Lings continue to run in. We got the rest of these Lings pulling up to the top, and that medevac is going to unload.
How about
7 minutes
these?
into Ghost River though, Wardy. I feel like for the first time we're looking at a game that Sarah's playing this tournament. I was like, I don't feel like he's in total control. I don't really see like, wow, there is no way this ever goes wrong. No, I think there's a lot of things that could go wrong. The work account 61 against 61. It's obviously fun to compare some of the European Zergs that always believe in a very high drone count. And then you look at a man like Dark, and you feel like he's all in for 50 minutes straight, but he really isn't because he's just Dark. And he has a great understanding of these like scrappy low eco scenarios. But I'm not used
Good to
Cyril
know
being
these
down
low
in
eco
workers in this
scenarios.
phase in the game, as he's clearly trying to find damage, but it's so hard on Ghost River.
It's extremely difficult as we have the few queens coming over, chasing down
Oh.
that little medevac there, but yeah, he's playing low eco. He is just trying to get the extra
Some EMP would be nice, right? EMP the queens.
On Ling Bane for a long time, and the Terran just sits there, maxes out, takes more and more bases. What's the long-term game plan?
Get an EMP to
I believe the infestation
knock their
bit is
energy
not
out.
like Burrow, by the way, you know that I'm a big fan of Burrow. No, there's
What up,
no
Deviants?
infestation yet. I kind of thought I saw one. Zero's just gonna try to go up to 5 bases. Maybe he's hoping that Oliveira falls into one of the Oliveira traps sometimes where he gets a bit hyper-aggressive on moments where he doesn't have to. I feel like Oliveira is having a perfect read on this game, and he's playing it well. Of course,
Yeah, Oliveira's taking a third now.
and he pushes it back a little bit. But as long
And,
as Oliveira doesn't
holding
break
it.
up all of his units and moves
So
up,
now it's all about the
it's
fourth.
very unlikely that Zero is going to be able to find great economic damage. And if he can slow Oliveira down one way or the other, it's
Oh, the army's moving to the bottom.
right side. Oh my, oh my.
Oh, look at
What is
that.
Zero cooking over
Sure
here?
is.
I mean, it's cute enough, but I don't really see that coming into play.
Yeah, he wants
No,
all the
it's one of those-
minerals.
The reason why you might try and do it is this map generally is going to end up being your side of the map versus the other side. And if you don't have a base to mine from as a Zerg on your opponent's side, that's very tough for you. So he's going to try and get away with
'Cause of
it,
the
naturally drop low,
resources.
attention to the top. Okay,
Zergs
so-
waste more
I love it.
resources.
4 dropper lords, so maybe we're gonna drop a whole bunch of Zerglings in the natural, maybe a couple in the natural, couple in the main base. I mean, that would obviously be cool. But it feels like
Oliveira's
Oliveira
just
has
kinda
no
trying to
armies
contain
like this,
the,
what to do with
creep.
this stuff. And even if Oliveira doesn't see this coming, and he's gonna lose a couple STVs, make it 10, 15.
Oh, drops.
That is going to
Oh,
be
Ling
the end of the
drops.
world. Here we go, 32 Zerglings making their way over to the other side of the map.
Yeah, getting those up around the top side. Meanwhile, Stella is skirmishing in the center. Oliveira so far paying good attention.
Ooh,
but starting to
the
push
drops
it,
are gonna be
obviously,
at a-
short rush distance to the other side here. So when you get there, it's going to hit quickly. Now Sterile is all over the place, dropping to the top, running back to the right side, but
Here we
still
go.
fighting bottom and still fighting
He's gonna occupy him right now. He knows he's gonna be busy on the
Down a tiny bit for
attack.
himself. These trades have been fine, but he needs to have an answer for all these lings that are going to be dropped in the natural main base. Widowmines targeting the dropper lords. That's a lot of friendly fires. The -8 SCVs immediately, but all of that is acceptable as long as he doesn't lose all these tanks. But there isn't really a whole lot to buffer
He's
anymore
breaking
for the
in.
tanks, Waddy.
These lings just getting in from the other side, getting on top.
Oh,
Now it's
no.
now Lings still in the bases.
Oh, he tried to do a
Burrow there,
good
and
catch.
another mistake, but we're getting so many more STVs. 23 have died, and Sterile even has units getting out. He's still in that picture-in-picture doing damage.
Yep, Stero obviously finds what he is looking for, but he's still a lair tech Zerg. This is important to keep in mind. This is a great spot for Yona to be in, because now he did slow Oliveira down. He was able to pick off a bunch of these tanks that normally would have been so hard, as he immediately fires off more dropper lords. Now the infestation pit gets dropped.
up, Neil?
And 32
Only
banelings,
good
but the
bug
queens
is
are
a dead
up.
bug.
So Oliveira is going to find a couple of these queens. I think it would really help Oliveira right now to put a scan in the main to see what the attack of Zero is looking
Yeah, I
like.
know. Speaking of
Because this
bugs,
may
I'm
have felt
curious.
really
Ooh,
bad,
I'm
but again,
curious
if
how
you see Zero's still
the
there,
new
then you're
Alien
like,
movie is gonna
okay,
come
that
out.
was annoying, but this isn't as crucial yet as it could have been, as Zero sneaks a whole bunch of drones to the bottom right side just to indeed already start mining out some of these minerals. He's
Such
gonna
a-
see it.
Yeah, he's going to see it. That's such a huge catch from Oliveira, because knowing this, he can deny
Oh,
those
he spots
drones.
it.
That means that's the backfire. This Widowmine is not off cooldown. The missile
Ooh, one shot.
The other one will still get to unload, but that is a big help for Oliveira.
Oh, that was
Oliveira's
a
still
help.
working with 100 army supplies, so it should be doable to clean up all these links and banes.
Oh,
So
no.
let's fire up the hive.
Zero's gonna
Make
wanna
it
take
hard
out
for
that
Oliveira to
base.
get his hands on a fifth base.
Mr. Sterling is an accomplished man, but
Oh,
he does
wow.
have unhealthy views.
Sure, that gets you.
Did you know
Commercialception.
Louisiana basically invented brunch?
I
Because
didn't.
We created the OJ made with oranges picked at their peak.
He's fighting near a planetary with pure Link Bane Wadi. I mean, yes, he's got a lot of Banelings, but this is kind of risky. There's a tank in the mix. There's a couple Widowmines in the mix as well.
New movie, I know. Let's hope it goes back to its roots.
No, he doesn't at all. They're both of them get across to different bases.
These days, movies aren't like the way it used to. Oh, he's gonna lose the capacitor. What?
Now this medevac is low. It goes down as well. And Oliveira's offense is falling apart.
Oh, it is
That's
falling
not too
apart.
But he's still sitting on 1,000 minerals. He's gonna find a little bit of damage in the bottom side of the map just to feel better, right? You need
Get a
to
bunker
defend
up there in the mineral. You know, get a bunker at that natural.
Out of there, and he's also seen that base in the bottom right, and that's obviously going to make life very awkward for Cyril. If I was Cyril, I think I would sacrifice his base. I might at least try to send the drones away, but he really wants to mine from this for as long as possible. He is so freaking heavy on the Ling Bane. I almost wish there maybe a couple of infestors or something, right? That'd be kind of nice for this composition.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh!
Mine's starting to go off here. Stero's going to go deep. A couple of mines hitting the base, but we are going to make our way through to the planetary.
Oh, checks out the planet. He's done. That's it. The damages.
And it's Sterile
And Cero has the corner still.
Couple of lings and banelings left. Obviously, Sterol gets what he's looking for there. The 12 STVs.
That's
the
it.
planetary takes care of those Wither Mines in the tank as well, but that was not cheap. That was a ridiculous amount of banelings, but I think he's okay with it, right? Especially with the economic damage.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, if we can keep on doing this, eventually this is going to be a whole lot better for me than it is for
Cero
you.
should
As
not be
Sterol
allowed to use
completely
banelings.
minded of all the bases in the bottom left, and he still has his hands on the bottom right side as well.
Absolutely fantastic little situation here as Adrenal Glands coming up, +3 carapace, +3 melee. All on the way, we go scanning around. I mean, this is where Sterol is still mining off the bottom right. It's so crazy. This is the issue with Ghost River, that you don't get one base over your opponent. And now he's just mining this for so long. The longer that goes, the more troubled Oliveira will be, the deeper the game goes.
I'm actually surprised there's no depots, by the way, on top of this map, right? I feel like that would make Oliveira's life a little bit easier, especially if Sterol is so freaking heavy on the Link Bane. Let's get a couple buildings there for Sterol to at least use a couple Banes to blow up depots or a bunker, an eBay, whatever. Would be nice. He is going to make a tiny bit of progress. There's one thorough Baneling there, but that's not enough at first. Widow Mine is only
Oh, they didn't get a good shot.
It's
a lot of lings.
Take out this base, but Sterol's obviously aware of that. You know, at this point he is playing the long haul, and he's like, all right, I am stealing resources from you in the bottom right side, and it's incredibly unlikely you will ever mine anything from my side of the map.
I think it's just going to split themselves forward, setting off a couple of those Widow Mines, but not too much happening. Sterol pulling back once again, not overcommitting into these fights too much, just getting to finish up his Adrenal Glands. Now we're going to come in for a little bit of a flank, so we'll see if it works from 2 angles, but he says no, backing up once again.
This is where the Terran army does become terrifying, right? We have a couple Liberators in the mix as well. They always do crazy damage. 119 army supply at the moment for Oliveira. As being down a few workers maybe isn't all that bad anymore. You're going to mine out your main and natural anyway, so you can transfer a couple of these STVs. Sterol's got 143 links, but against 9 Widow Mines, those tanks, those Liberators in great spots. Is that going to be good enough, Waddy?
Not really too sure. Let's see the Ling Bane coming through. A couple more Widow Mines get burrowed. It's definitely seeming troublesome for Sterol to be able to push through. Obviously, this is through a choke point. The tanks are well set up now in a more forward position. Sterol has added on some Vipers, but only 2 of them, and that's the only real tech we've seen. This is otherwise still just Ling.
Gotta take out that base.
Gonna start diving in here once again. This is Sterol down.
Oh, the tank's got.
Bombs coming through as he wants to break through this. The tank's starting to drop. There's one still alive, though, getting a lot.
Oh, 2 tanks didn't really get what they should have. They moved too close.
Sterol lost a lot there, has drained the vast majority of his piggy bank that he was working on. Can we take a look at the units lost?
Oh.
Just to figure out what we are looking at. 7,000 resources more have died on the side of Sterol. And sure, if you play Link Bane styles like this, that's often going to happen. And as long as he's mining from the bottom right side, you are kind of able to justify
pulling
that.
back.
Eventually, you're going to need to find some slightly more efficient trades.
Kept on rolling in the Lings there.
Oh, nice Liberators.
We are going to see the Vipers nearby here. Should be an answer to those.
Takes out that base
Liberators.
finally.
The base goes down in the bottom right, so finally we get rid of this issue that has been looming over Oliveira's head for 5+ minutes at this stage of the game. And yeah, we really need to get rid of those libs to get Manning back to Sterol in his forward base.
I mean, I'm sure Oliveira's a bit annoyed.
Oh,
right,
stop
that he
chewing
knows
my
all of
base.
the resources are gone of the bottom right. They'll never really get his hands on anymore, but he still has 2 fresh, 1 entire fresh base.
I know.
Even the base
It's
itself
tough.
has died,
Oh.
so there are plenty of resources left there, and he is pretty well set up. He's got +3, he's got +2 on the tanks as well. It's not that bad, and as long as Sterol doesn't get anything more terrifying than Lings, Banes, and Vipers, you would think there is a world where Oliveira can stabilize, but Sterol is going to try to strike while the iron is still hot. There is no planetary here.
Oh, did you get any? Not the biggest shots.
Not really any devastating shots so far, though, so Sterol is doing about
Yeah,
as good
not
as
the
he
biggest
could, and
shots.
should
Yeah,
be
that
able to
command
deny
center
his
has to go
command
up.
center from becoming a planetary once more.
And a burrow underneath the command
I
center.
don't know how those mines did not get better connections. They were targeted in the center, and they ended up firing on like 2 or 3 links here and there. That was really something else as the Viper count grows once more from Sterol. Even getting some missile upgrades for the future of this game as well, perhaps. Investing in his future, as right now, it's no bank for either side.
Ooh, there he goes. There, that's what I'm talking about. Get that.
Yep, those are the shots that Oliveira is looking for. If you're Oliveira right now, you take a look at your
Ooh,
score,
nice.
like
Lift up.
145, I really need to get my hands on a base desperately. But on the other hand, you probably realize, like, hey, earlier you had insane amounts of banelings, an absolutely overwhelming amount of units. are you starting to run out of steam a little bit? And we can see that Thero is at 172 supply, does not have any money in the bank. He's firing up +1 pistol attacks now, by the way, maybe to help the...
Oh, that was a good, decent shot.
I don't really know what that's all about, Marty, because we don't have roaches, we don't have Hydra.
And the Marauder lived.
What we do have is a bunch of queens with energy. This seems to be a very
He's
important
still
one, but
being
Thero
cautious.
cannot get up this
That's a
ramp
big...
anymore. I am starting to like this game more and more for Oliveira.
He's finally stabilizing, getting that forward base up, holding this position is such a big turnaround on what was happening before.
Oh, the Vipers are gonna start pulling. Or fogging. Yep, look.
Right now, Planetary Fortress is here as well, so that's a big deal. And while there's a lot of explosions going on, it's hard to imagine Snell's gonna find enough, but he is.
Oh, takes out the command center.
as well.
And the SCVs that are coming by.
Continuing to go, and these units have no healing left, so the Lings will continue to chase. The Widowmine doesn't
Oh, nice pickup.
Somehow is the one once again left with units. How?
That's like the only.
Oh, and the SCVs are dying.
I've ever taken, and I'm surprised that it went the way that it did. He's not there yet. He's going to be very happy that he has taken out that planetary once more. As now Oliveira is obviously starting to have a hard time.
Yep. Base 1 and 2 are practically mined out. Base 3 is 50% mined out. And 4 is all we got. So.
Nowhere near maxed out, doesn't have a crazy amount of money in the bank, does drop the Ultralisk cover now.
Well, something to kind of
Cheryl's got at least 2 fresh bases.
Now to attempt to move to ultras, it's going to be an orbital in the forward position, which makes it easier to bust than
Hiplo got that night shift energy carrying over. No, actually, yesterday my internet, we were playing late night, and my internet went out. And then I'm like, oh, and it went out for a while, so I laid down for a little bit just to wait and see how long it'll take, and I passed out. So I got back that daytime, daytime shift now. So I won't have to set up until, what is it, Thursday night is when I have to start setting back up to my nighttime shift. So we'll do like a late night horror on Thursday night. Or something overnight. Ooh, Oliveira. Oh, where's the crowd? Everybody, look at them. Oh, that's what's his name? Beowulf. Looking at the crowd.
Ridiculous game. Pure Ling Bane. Finally, a couple Vipers came through. He took that.
So would I mess up? Yeah. I'm surprised there wasn't that many Hellbats, you know? A couple Hellbats in that game. He already got Hellbats earlier in the beginning of the game. I'm so surprised Hellions weren't there so much, you know? Blue Flame. They'll mix it in. They do so good. Yeah, right there. Look at that. Like, he had Hellbats. Right? Am I tripping? Like, cause Hellions don't require gas. I know you want to make tanks, but I didn't see that many tanks in this game. But yeah. Okay. All these. This is so, I don't know. They always do these things where it's like, you know you can kill it and he moves out the way. It's like, I don't want. They do this little sweep right there. They make you want to, I ain't downloading shit. That shit's easy. Yeah. Look, and then they move out the way. He could have been working on this one instead. See? It's dumb. So dumb.
Before I get anything done, just several things here, Marty.
And that was meant to be the map for Oliveira. That was the map we got to pick before.
Playing that game right now. Are you playing it right now? Man, whoever played that game right there is ass. Pisses me off. I was like, you know damn well you should be hitting the other one. You know damn well. And it's like,
In the bottom right side of Golden
they
Aura,
move out the
we're looking
way.
at the main base of the man, has played a fantastic tournament so far. Finally overcame those TVP demons, beating 2 Koreans on the very first day. And yesterday we saw him playing a fantastic series against Rainer. He is your reigning world champion.
Yeah, no
of
Hellbats.
StarCraft 2. Dallas, make some noise for DKZ Oliveira.
Oh, what's her name? Sarah again. She was there last year at the DreamHack. If it's the same one. I believe it's the same one. But yeah, she was over there last December.
Do you think Oliveira has something in particular planned for Golden Aura? Because this is obviously the map that Cyril goes to straight away. So you've got to think he's got something planned for what is a Zergy map.
I've seen Oliveira play a couple of TVCs recently on Golden Aura, and it's always hard.
There's one of those mobile game ads that has Artosis. With Artosis, Artie? That's funny. I met Artosis in December. He thought the Sewer Mermaid was the build name of the build. He didn't know it was a person. That's funny. It's like the Nexus Rush is called the Sewer Mermaid. Okay. Hey, what up, Eric? Those ads are intentionally designed that way by psychologists. You should get angry at the dumb player. Download and show. No, I know. I study psychology, and it's one of my biggest curiosities in life is understanding how the brain works and understand how people work and emotions. So I know what they're doing. It pisses me off that they're doing that, you know, because I know what they're trying to do. You get me? It's actually flipped twice. And it's flipped on me to have an emotion where it's like, I'll show them how this game's done. But then there's the side where it's like, I know I can get it done. So at the same time, I know why you're doing it, which is pissing me off that I get out of here. Get out of here with that. You know, it's not going to fool me. It's like I don't know. I have that same emotion with like movies. Whenever there's a dumb movie, the closest dumbest one that I've seen so far is the Michael Myers Coming Home or something. I don't know what the hell. But that one was so dumb. People died so stupid that I was just like, Michael, just kill him. You're supposed to usually psychologically hope that the person lives. They were doing so many dumb things that I'm like, this is bad writing. I hope he does die. Go kill him off. I'm not going to connect my emotions to this dumb character that I know is going to do something extremely dumb to get killed. At least, some lives, some close calls, but no. So, yeah, same thing with those things. I know psychologically they're designed for you to, like, switch it up and I'll show them. This is how you do it. From
there, and then one base at a time. And I mean, you've cast plenty of TVCs, Wadi. You know how it goes.
But that's how they get them.
Here. Zerg often gets their hands on the bottom left side very quickly.
All right, this is game 2.
Most likely even pretty much mine out the gold. Maybe not all the gas, but they'll definitely mine out those minerals.
I think Roaches. Link speed's kicking in.
On that base in the top right. It could go his way because he's actually very good in late game TVC as well. And it just comes to getting value out of these units like Liberators, tanks, stores.
No Reaper. No Reaper. I mean, that tells Sarah a lot. Not having a Reaper come by, you know that you're saving the gas. Either you're delaying the gas or you're saving it for a faster factory. So that you know that the medevac drop is coming a little earlier whenever there's no Reaper. It doesn't seem like a big difference, but it is. In this case, the factory is quicker so that the Hellion run by it's quicker. So I was going to come take a peek, sees the factory. Doesn't want to lose the Overlord, knows that Oliveira might be scouting for the Overlord this time. And so yeah, Cyril's just like, I'll just send one Ling, which is good. He got everything he needed. That it was a factory reactor. That's pretty much all you need to see right now. The Overlords were, the Marines were just to kill the Overlord. and to, you know, nibble on a couple lings if needed.
But I feel like he's a bit better right now than he was in
But mostly for the Overlord.
Yeah, I feel like
He's Overlord scouting. He's checking if there's no Overlords looking, trying to hide his tech.
Yeah, I would kind of agree with that.
No third.
I'm pretty excited about Oliveira.
Gonna go over there, see the third. Probably gonna see the creep already.
Cool to see him make the round of 8 back then, because that was a bit of a surprise.
I mean, it was a surprise as well, especially after the first day, right? I mean, winner stage didn't go his way, but battled his way through that knockout bracket back then. Zero in game 2 has opened up with the roaches. He's gonna fire up 5 of them. Just a couple safety roaches for now. As you guys can see, no Zergling speed. There was obviously a chance that Zero gets Zergling speed much later because he's pretty fond of like roaches, ravages, and then Lings, Banes way down the line. We'll keep an eye on it as he fires up a 4-minute and 35-second Lair Wadi.
Very quick, obviously just opened with them roaches. So just going to get the Lair rolling here. Banshee out for Oliveira, so if there was more commitment to roaches, the Banshees will naturally just help there.
Hey, thanks, Zirkin. Thanks for the like.
Keep his creep moving forwards.
Yeah, I'm here streaming. I'm here all day, you know.
Canvas to work upon.
Oliveira got a little adventure.
So I appreciate that like.
Against Rainer on El Sayani. This guy really wanted to get a cancel on that 4th base. Didn't quite work out. Lost one of the Banshees. The other one lost all of its HP.
Hey Flo, who's your favorite Terran, Zerg, and Protoss player all time, and why?
And what I love about Oliveira,
Let's see, with
Protoss,
Protoss,
he just never looks bad, right? He stims in, tanks on siege, it doesn't matter. None of this, like, oh, that was a good fight.
I would probably have to say Haas.
Goes, keeps on stimming forward.
It's close between Hero and Haas.
And I love that, right?
Only because they're really off the wall crazy, you know, they're ballsy. Haas more ballsier than Hero, so I would say Haas is more outside the box. That I really like, because, you know, it adds value to StarCraft when you play a totally different way in the game. It adds value. When you play more like everybody else, yeah, it's fun, but there's like, you never come back going, I wonder what this player is gonna do next, you know. What other areas is he working on that, you know, isn't the standard? And Haas is definitely big on that. I'll come back and I'll see him do something, you know, way outside the norm. With Terran, I would probably say Innovation, because Innovation is really good at Terran, but he nukes a lot. You know, I like that he's a nuker. You know, I think a lot of you know, I've always loved nukes, and I always wondered why Terrans don't nuke as much as they, you know, as they hardly do. But they should, and I feel like Innovation, you know, is definitely a good inspiration for my, you know, mass nukes throughout the whole game. There's a YouTube video, Innovation versus Scarlet, and one I think, if Innovation versus Sero, nukes. Just type in Innovation versus Sero nukes or something, and I'm sure it'll pop up. But it's like, he played a game where he nuked the shit out of Sero. Nuked the shit out of him. Like, damn, like hanging with some good players, but he's over there just nuking. I love me some nukes. For Zerg, I would probably say Dark, because Dark is kind of like on the Haas side. He's very unorthodox. He plays hyper aggressive, as you know, in his builds. He can play macro too, but he plays very, you know, loose, and I really like that, you know, because it shows that it's like, it doesn't always mean to be just a macro player that wins the games. There's skill to it. There's unit decisions. There's, you know, a lot of things that go into it. It shouldn't just be more things beat less things, you know.
Makes it very hard. Finds a couple of the queens as well in the center of the map. I mean, Sero's sitting on a few too many resources. Wanted to wait till Ultras. As Sero actually gets in range of all of these Marines.
Oh, the splits.
To turn around again. The Bailings get absolutely obliterated. Is this 8
Oh, look at.
Really is.
Get those drones.
Just not prepared at all. One of the rare occasions you'll see Cyril kind of panicking because he
Yeah,
not know
so
what
those
he
are my
wanted to do here.
picks.
Pulling units back
Yeah,
when
there's a
they
lot of
should've
good
just gave
players,
in.
Tanner-wise, like Maru, Clem, and all them, but, you know, I really enjoy the crazy side of StarCraft. And if you bring it out, I really enjoy, you know.
On the right side, that's so cool because Cyril can just send a few Zerglings over there quickly, force Oliveira to pick up and disengage. No, you're gonna have to send over roaches, and then you have to worry about the terrifying army as well. I don't really know why Oliveira is turning around though. Yeah, this is a couple of links and all, but that's not the play, Wardy. This is still Hive Tech Zerg Cyril. Ultras are on the way, guidance planning is on the way. He needs to continue to go.
Yeah, you just don't want to give Cyril any opportunity to get those tech units out in any sort of good numbers, so just go, send it. You've done great damage so far. Cyril's clearly not ready for you. Go and make the most of that situation. We start to push forwards and we look to start moving up these ramps.
Marine's gonna stand forward. A few Ravagers are gonna try to buy a bit of time. It is hard to get up these ramps when there are Custome about raining.
Yeah.
4 Ultras with guidance.
Cole, he's my miracle child. So how does your miracle
Sorry.
Phase as well on its way as well. I love the Ceros even moving the sport roller forward. Oliveira now sees the first Ultra pop, but that Ultra didn't have guidance plating yet, so it's gonna take a lot of damage. And don't forget that a bunch
It's a sad story, but then there's an agenda behind it.
Scenarios where these Ultras are gonna live forever.
Well, here we go. Cyril comes forward. A couple of abducts on the siege tanks. Corrosive Vows to get that second one. Like that little move. That is cute. Oliveira's supply is dropping already, and Cyril is back in a supply lead with these Ultras about out. He's going to be in a strong
Marauder
position.
taking
The
some
Vipers have the
bailing
energy running
shots.
out too, and Oliveira is soon
Yeah,
gonna be
Marauders do
ready.
good against the Ultralisk, so that kind of helps.
Oliveira down
Well, that's
a
3
little.
more Ultralisk, 4 more Ultralisk.
He's losing a lot now.
And Marauders, come on now. Ooh, lost. That's it. Oh, so we're taking game 2.
But I could not have agreed more there, Wade. I started to think, oh my goodness, don't tell me that you just gave him enough time to get all these Ultras out. Because that really would have been a bit of...
I wonder, is that Ryujin? Ryujin, I think. It's a dragon. Did you know that this is the year of the dragon? Did you guys know that? It's like the Mortal Kombat dragon. Ryujin. Or Ryujin? I think it's Ryujin. Jin.
Tiny bit too greedy, trying to get all the upgrades straight up to Hive, straight up to Ultras. And he was not ready for the Rex to move out.
It's the year of the dragon, and it's the 8th. The 8th, I forgot what it is. The 8th dragon's phase or something like that.
This was that moment of panic that you mentioned. I mean, you kind of missed the beginning of
My that's our dragon every year. You know, this one, your dragon, it's pretty heavy this year. Probably I was just curious what kind of dragons I'm kind of like learning dragons.
You've got loads of units here, and he's back and forth. The Vipers flying, they didn't actually have energy to do anything, and yet he was taking a fight as though he was going to blinding cloud, so it just all fell apart.
Mythology, so
And then he had to dig in, Cyril, it did feel as
I was
though
learning
there was a
about
little bit of
Ryujin.
I think you're right, those Ravages blocking that ramp, stopping him from getting down, and the Ultra's able to chase. That's what hurt him. If he splits some of this around that right side and comes down from over there, this maybe actually could have been Cyril clearing up, and maybe we still are playing on Golden Aura.
Absolutely, because don't forget, Cyril's getting the bottom left. Cyril has
Pro
his
level,
flying
they
aura
are
as
way
well.
too
I don't
good
think this base even has
to
to
see the
necessarily
nukes.
die. This is where it went wrong. At this point, I think it actually looks good for Cyril. It's the roaches. as
They're
well.
all over the map,
The
you know?
Ravagers, look at these Ultras derping
You
on
gotta
that
stop,
side.
take a break when there's a
And
nuke.
absolutely fantastic shot
So
from
I
the
love
left.
nukes. It's so
I
like
think if you resume this from replaying, he'd send a
so
couple
this is
of
a good.
units down that ramp over
Ooh,
the
those
top
Marauders
side
were.
of our screen. Could have gone way
Were
better
good.
for Cyril. And don't forget,
Let's see. Undi dog. I know underdog, but what's the meme on that one? I don't know. Delete Terran. This is a Zerg player right here. Is that what that is? Zerg player. Delete Terran. It's problem solved. Problem solved. Let's go, Sarah. We got a nice little ling. That's cute. Never forget. Never forget. Nova forget. 1, 2, 3, 4. What is that? I forgot already. I didn't even know. Normal man. Okay, he's normal.
Like getting a single base and getting a couple of banelings and drones, that was never enough for all.
Oh, dragon. Yeah. What is it? What is this? A movie? Modern sized. Let's see what they. But slinking fat joints. Is that a joint? Oh god. I didn't know there were smoking the reefer. That's a dope dragon. I wasn't talking about a dope dragon. I said, like, you know.
Well, in the bottom right-hand side, the man who just faltered a little
What up,
bit for the
Claudequant?
first time
How you
to
doing?
get his men
We got
to on track.
the
Let's
VIP
find out.
club.
In the bottom right, I
Yes, I know that because as a One Piece fan, I, as everybody, feel the return of Monkey D. Dragon this year in the manga. Ah, so see, you know about dragons. I mean, this will be the year to bring it out, right? I love Dragon Ball Z. I didn't get to watch it, so many of them, because it was at the time you'd have to, you know, buy the DVDs, which my friend had, and I binged on all of them. But I stopped at the cyborgs, you know. When Trunks kicked in, I stopped right after Trunks showed up, beat up Frieza, and, you know, her dad, his dad, her dad.
Yesterday they were loving it when he was winning those games. Loving it right there as he picks up this game 2, and this series is guaranteed to go on for a little while longer for sure.
But I watched practically all the videos from the beginning to that part. Then it started getting into Dragon Balls, like in space and stuff, and it did go crazy. I didn't watch all that stuff, but I got the ground roots of it. I think one of my favorites was Majin Buu, Dragon Goku versus Majin Buu. That one was really long, really long, but it was good. It had a tournament in between that fight, which was pretty interesting. But yeah, that was cool. Frieza was cool. Goku versus Frieza was pretty cool, but I feel like Majin Buu was funny because you didn't expect that bastard to be all tough. I don't know. I don't know if Frieza's dead. I don't know. Well, I know Trunks whooped the shit out of Frieza, but I don't know if Frieza comes back, you know.
I do really love the way that Oliveira split up his forces the first time he moved down. I mean, in the end of the day, that wasn't a game that we've never seen before. It wasn't rocket science. Oliveira barely did any damage with.
Oh, you know a little bit about Chinese and Japanese astrology. I try to learn the cultures.
Complementing them with a bunch of Marines and medevac makes it just a whole lot more difficult for Starro to fight.
I feel like as a human being, all the culture histories should be all of our history, because it's a history of, you know, humans on this earth, you know. Separating all of it's kind of like,
no, those opportunities to take advantage of a Starro mistake are going to be few and far between.
So I try to learn about cultures.
Obviously, Starboard coming up here from Oliveira as well. 3cc just happy to play fairly normal builds, and so we're going to get that Rotron going early again.
Yep, I think it makes sense, right? If that's obviously what he's been practicing for a long time, that's what.
So we got the Reaper coming in really early.
Did not lose golden aura because
the Hellions coming back. Okay, the Hellions.
A mistake, and then actually still got Omega close. I mean,
You like Dragon Ball Z as a teen, Claudequant? But I prefer a lot One Piece. Story is just better. One Piece? That's another one?
So risky this deep into the tournament. When you've played such a strong tournament so far, do you really want to put it all on the line with a Queen Roach Knight?
I'll have to look into that one.
That just doesn't really scream Sterile to me.
No, it really doesn't, especially because I think he knows he can play very solid longer games. Yes, it went wrong that last one. I don't think, like you say, he's going to make similar mistakes a second time over. This time,
My little
Oliveira
pen
does
to
get a
write
close
stuff
start
down.
for the Banshees, so a bit more invested
Try not to
there.
forget.
Maybe we'll try and be a bit more active with them. As this overload comes in, Sterile just looking for the scout, and he's going to find 3 CC. Sees the reactor, the tech lab building on the barracks.
Yeah, I don't really know too much about manga. The first time I heard about manga, which I didn't even know what manga was at the time, was I was playing the game Doki Doki. Doki Doki, more of a dialogue game. My baby girl is in that game. And what was her name? Jessica or I forgot what her name was. Nioki? Nioki? What's her name? But yeah, she liked manga. She liked, and I was like, what the hell is manga? You know, in my head I'm like,
it's already been a very fun one.
like manga comics or something like that.
They were picked right the yesterday, right? We're saying like, oh, we had so many epic series yesterday. That probably means we're gonna get a bunch of 3.
Pirate,
like, no,
shonen,
First of all, nobody wants
manga,
to
anime.
This time around, Oliveira is gonna go for that 4th command center. By the way, 5 minutes and 30 seconds into the game, buddy. So what
Natsuki, yeah, Natsuki. There you go.
Cool,
yeah. Is that your baby girl? Did you choose Natsuki? I went for what was it? Not Monica. Where's my baby girl? Not Monica. What's her name? Yuri. Yeah, that's my baby girl. I didn't forget her name. I just, you know, didn't remember it. So funny how these pros make it look so easy. Is how I imagine I play. And you could play in some way this, but you have to learn something. You gotta learn, you know, your different units. You know, you gotta learn your mechanics. You gotta understand, you know, different phases of the game and possibilities within the game. You know, and so that's why I say, you want to get here, you want to play a lot of games. Just play a lot of games and you'll get closer and closer to it. Don't worry about getting ladder anxiety and, oh, I'll play just 2 today and I'll play some more tomorrow. No, just get in another game. Don't worry about the losses, because all that experience is going to help you get like in this direction. I feel like we don't want to lose so much that it keeps us from playing more, and playing more is what helps us get better. So it's kind of like a counter. You know? But yeah, they make it look good, make it look easy, right? So they're quick.
And yeah, just Hive obviously will be a big thing that he might actually get to see a little bit more of here on this game 3 than he did in game 2.
Burrow getting fired up as well. Some of the Zergs do sometimes fire up Burrow and then they cancel it, right? Because they're like, nah, I don't really need it. It was just trying to misplay. But it seems that this one is on purpose. Pretty strong army here though, and obviously on the bottom left side, Oceanborn. Too many great tanks.
Cyril's just using a Ling here and there to get that little spot.
Very cautious because Ling speed is nowhere near done. Roaches and the Ravagers.
Nope, not using all the loads. You're just shooting a couple. Yeah, don't want to be on full cooldown.
This could actually get kind of scary. As Oliveira is obviously establishing his own 4th base.
Yeah, Cyril just taking a very aggressive stance. Says, hey, look, I just want to make sure you don't get in position. Because if you do, there's a high possibility I am.
Did he think he saw an observer? Oh wait, it's not a Protoss. I don't know what he was doing right there.
Because he's going to have all the other tools he's been building towards. Vipers are also now, what, a minute away from being out with energy available as well. A couple of Banshees, you come back in. Nice to see them still active.
Ooh, Banshees.
Means they can come back for round 2 later in the game, and they're going to get a couple drones, a 4 cancel. And that's going to be a nice little grab from Oliveira as the tech hole hits in from Sterile. I wonder if he's going to get kind of aggressive once those Vipers out. If he wants to try and make some pushes happen.
Oh, he's nibbling.
Himself as drones keep dropping. These Banshees have been amazing.
Yep, the Banshees have been good. Cyril's drone count was incredibly high. So -8 drones, obviously Oliveira is going to be happy with that, but Cyril's still sitting on 90. He's making 7 more. Now you do have to, at one point, probably slow
Ad got you, Claudiquant? Oh, shit. How about the manga? Did you hear what I was saying about the manga? Doki Doki. That was the game that I was playing. Those damn commercials, they could be long. I don't have ads too. That's what's funny. It's like I actually don't have ads for this stream. So that's YouTube ads, I guess. I don't know how that works.
They really have been as the Hatchery goes bottom
Where
left.
the hell they get?
Moving around, the
I
medevac's
don't know.
overhead. Ling's going to run in. Hatchery gets cancelled. Banes continue to get over there. And that's a really good job from Oliveira, just finding ways to delay Sterile in this latest stage. Nice catch on the Banshee, though.
Yep, Oliveira is finally going to end up losing one of them, but I do kind of like what he's doing here, man. He's just getting cancel after cancel. I feel like he's done an alright job in keeping the creep at bay as well. Of course, Terra is going to continue spreading that creep, and it's important that Oliveira stays on top
My
of
3
that.
preference of Terran are Oliveira, Clem, and Gumiho. Yeah, Gumiho is really good. I met Gumiho in December. Got his signature and everything. Really, really cool. Yeah, Gumiho, he's creative. Clem's really fast and technical. Oliveira, yeah, he's good. His Terran's good.
Yeah, very far from being a super impactful cleanup. As the general close coming through, I mean, just honestly looking at upgrades finishing. This is what this game has been about alongside this little bit of
Ooh,
harassment.
focus fire.
Oliveira clearly very happy to stick into a later game. Great target by Oliveira, okay. Very pretty stuff. I was going to say, Styles got the lurker on the way out, so he's continued to attack through himself into other things and giving himself other options.
Look at that fortress, a planetary fortress.
Yeah, I call him the medicine man. I call him the medicine man because it reminds me of the word Oliveira. I mean, aloe vera. I don't know, what do you call it, but it's that medicine plant. I used to use that as a kid whenever I used to get cut. We would have a plant like the aloe vera plant, and we would just put that aloe vera on. Yeah, aloe vera. It almost sounds similar to aloe vera. Aloe vera. So I was like, oh, it's the medicine man. Yeah, he used to be Time. And I don't know why he changed his name. I don't know why Time changed his name, but yeah, he used to be Time. I known him for Time. I've always known him for Time, so it threw me off when Oliveira won the championship, the tournament. Was like a year back, 2 years back. Yeah, I didn't know. I was like, what? I was like, who's this person? I didn't know who this person is. And it's like Time. I was like, oh yeah, okay. Time.
I always feel as though trade outs like this, you'd be loving to try and hit the planetary, hit some SCVs. That doesn't really exist with Sterile. Right now he's rich, but mostly mineral rich. I guess attacks like this do scale Oliveira backwards, which makes it a little bit easier for Sterile to perhaps keep these bases.
Ooh, Nidus Worm. Throw the drones. Transfer the drones. Huge time at the beginning. It's great. Parker and Kato was stunning. Time is never standing still and always changing. That's a good way, for Time. But that's a good description for a person named Time.
Sure, he might lose the hatchery, but he's going to save the drones, and he's just going to mine from the bottom left. It's a really cool plan. Cyril's incredibly good in making sure he doesn't lose drones too early, way before he wants to lose them.
Who's the Liberators?
Back up, Liberators get themselves sieged up as we have the continue to fight over there. Widowmine hits the Viper, doesn't quite go down. Sterile actually attack quite aggressively through this choke. There's only really the tanks and the lib there, so with enough units, you do leak through.
And those Bailings are just getting in.
Not quite the planetary force yet, but maybe we can finish that off with some bars. There is some repair going
Ooh,
down.
the repair holds.
That's a huge save from Oliveira.
Oh, yes.
That was
SCVs do go down, but Oliveira
that was
is a
expensive
planetary line. Meanwhile,
for
he's gonna
Cerro.
take this hatchery in the bottom
But
left side.
Cerro has a lot of bases.
Too many drones there. Doesn't even have too many drones there to begin with. As a Liberator is battling a queen in the bottom side. Yeah, I mean, these are the kind of fights where it's like, that wasn't great for Cerro, but it's also a couple of the basic units that he needs.
He's gonna take it out.
Roaches are not
Oh,
gonna
he
make a
doesn't.
difference against a 200 supply 3-3 Terran with Liberators, so you kind of want to trade them out eventually, and you want to get more of these strong Hive-Tech Zerg units. And Cerro's probably going to play a bit of
Enemy's
everything,
gonna
right? Where it's like,
attack.
first it's about
Caster,
Lynx and
yes,
Ultras,
it's
maybe
time
down the
to
line.
attack.
Then it's about Lurkers, still Blue Switch as well available. I think Cerro's is going to analyze the army of Oliveira properly.
Yeah.
try to trade out.
You know what? Rotterdam's a pretty good caster. There are some casters where you know, they're saying what's going on, not predictions or some insights. But I like Rotterdam. He has some flavor in his cast. He's ballsy to put out his predictions.
The drone's going to become the new hatch.
It is, isn't it? Wow.
Winter is best. Winter's very
Reproduce 15 drones immediately.
what is it? He's funny. Winter's I like his casting. He's got a lot of puns. He's like the pun master. I haven't heard as many puns as I have from anywhere but Winter. Winter always throws out the Terran Protoss puns. He agrees too much. I think that's his angry coach or something that comes out. His angry coach. Oh, this is Liberator range. It's gonna be hard for that sport to get in that angle. He had a real issue with his voice at the beginning, but it's really good, I agree.
That's a lot. And of course we started on Ghost River too, but Ghost River was a game where Oliveira was never quite able to get his hands on all the bases that he wanted to. This is an incredibly different game. Oliveira's maxed out. He's got all the upgrades he can dream of. He's got the production facilities he can dream of. Cerro is going to have to find some better trades. Now, it's normal that the numbers don't really favor Cerro with the way that this game has gone, especially getting rid of all those roaches and ravages. Yeah, he's going to be a little bit behind as he does not cancel the hatchery this time around, so that's 300 minerals more. Cerro really wants to start making something happen, Waddy.
He really does. He wants. I thought this might have been the
Remember Protoss Dava moths? That one I don't know. Who's that? Or is that a thing? Oh, is that a nuke? Oh, that's what I'm talking about.
Still pretty well handled, all said and done.
Nuke that larva.
Transfer and over. Looks like maybe time to try and establish to the upper right side and actually get a base here as Oliveira. Looks as though he may focus on that very soon.
Don't have moths.
Cerro was going to try to mine a
They
little
mess with your
At this point, Cerro is
they mess
mining
with your
the
clothes.
base.
They eat up your clothes.
Evenly divided. It's that one in the bottom left, and it's the other one in the top
Was
right.
it cotton or
Oliveira's
something
not
like that? I
even
forget
close
which
to
one
doing
they
something
eat,
about
but
it. This is one of Oliveira's bases. This isn't even one of these 50-50 bases. No, that base always belongs to Oliveira. But I don't think Oliveira truly cares if Cerro tries to take it, as long as he's not able to come through in line from it.
And Lang's going after a bunch of those SCVs. Hatch gets cancelled up again.
Oh, that
Continue to
base.
Try and, again, just find little skirmishes. It's hard to find a bigger fight.
What you eat
What do
with?
you think Cerro needs to do to really crack something open and start making this game hard on Oliveira?
What,
'Cause,
moths?
he's
What
mining
you
a
eat
lot.
with?
Cerro's
Oh,
got
mouth.
the bank. I think we all know that in general the Terran army is going to scale a little bit better, especially once the SCV goes down. And
Oh, mouth.
It's going to increase. Where would you like to see Cerro?
I totally read moth for a second.
Like, that's usually the secret because you best to start taking better trades later into the game once you've established.
Remember, Protoss don't have mouths, but they have nipples.
Something along those lines as we get an abduct on.
Why do you have nipples if you have no mouth?
And
I'm just saying, you know?
delay. We see the Ultra Captain coming
Just
up
an
with
observation in my head,
headbutt
you know?
power.
It's like,
But yeah, I think overall to kind of really
like,
win fights,
gotta have a mouth if you know? Like, that's what nipples are for, right?
Look at the mini-map. Literally every single base at the moment is being revealed. It's almost like he's asserting his dominance, letting Cerro know how rich he is, how many orbitals he's got.
Liberators getting relocated.
Just wants to see what he has to, in case Cerro was maybe banking up some of these high-tech units already somewhere. Oliveira just got a little...
Oh shoot, they got me. So you can feel the cold. It's like a temperature gauge. Yeah. That's just torture at that point. That's just torture, because you ever had like some sensitive, you know, nipples because it's cold, and it's like if you rub your shirt, you're like, eh. You gotta put some pasties on and shit.
Again, running forward, but will not be able to do too much. Good dodge away from the nuke self. Found it quickly and dealt with it properly. Yeah, he is rich, but you're right. That's pretty much the only thing he is in this game. He's rich, but how do you ever take a fight? Well, Ling Bane's gonna try and leak through towards these ghosts. Got rid of the tanks. Actually gonna get some Lings on top of the planetary.
Oh
Now
shit!
the will turn back around. It looks as though we're gonna get a base. So out of nowhere, Sterile finds himself a base.
Yeah, they have nipples. The Dark Templar, what was it, Artanis? Yeah, it shows full nips.
If I was Oliver, I wouldn't really rebuild those SUVs anymore.
You ever seen what he's all like? You know, he's wearing just like a small cloth.
All the bases, all the orbital commands. I really don't think you need any more. And that obviously means that the Terran army supply is going to increase to 148 if he maxes out at this point. And that's where it's going to be
called the
harder and harder as it's to find great combination of goals.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess there's, you know, we don't have as many benefits this time, but usually breastfeeding is important.
And Steryl's also going to lose a base. There's Knight is here, but Steryl's not actually evacuating his drones yet. He's going to do that towards the very end. I mean, that's the power of the Ghost on full display. That wasn't even a fight.
Another base loss then from Sterile as Oliveira takes more and more control in the upper right. Now Sterile, because he's losing control top right, he wants to take more control on the left side, which means that he's not just happy having that bottom left base, he wants this one at least not mining from the Terran as well. So that's the idea here as the map develops. You see these ghosts so far, there's been nothing to touch them, and this is where obviously maybe something a little bit extra might have gone nice at some point.
Those liberators, Oliveira's putting in some work on those libs.
I almost feel that we do really need to start praying for those holy fungals, because if you don't land great
Look at just so much links. He was like in game one, getting back to game one, but then Oliveira's trying to go libs.
Oliveira makes a mistake. Sterile normally doesn't really rely on his opponents making a mistake. He's the one who creates his own great plays.
There has to be a switch at one point, and Sterile may only have like one major switch, right, towards some broods, and then adding on some infestors or so. So it's about timing it correctly, but I mean, I guess it has to be sooner rather than later, because I don't feel like this game's going to start getting any better with what he already has.
Well, he's going to get a second Spire as well. We already have a great Spire. As these Corruptors, by the way, found some nice value. A Liberator here, a Medevac there. Not often you see just two Corruptors at a time. Having a good time.
I know. Two Corruptors put in some mad work. This match was insane. I'd say peak SC2 in terms of what can be done in the game. Oh yeah, the possibilities. Yeah. Oh, that's 4.
Does get rid of the ghost, and it's just going to be another clear out there as Oliveira sits happy. Oceanborn again with the base in the upper right coming up. It really feels as though Oliveira should be feeling the best he's felt all game.
Yep, 17 Widow Mines currently out on the map. Sterile is working with 128
Oh, those queens just don't want to die.
Go for Sterile to find great fights. It's never impossible, but it seems as though
there we go. Take out that.
Sterile managed to find a couple of excellent fights that really weren't easy, and I think a lot of Starks would have had a very difficult time finding those fights. And here on Oceanborn,
get closer.
All that splash damage of the planetaries, of the tanks as well. I feel like it's borderline impossible. So it comes down to the spellcasters. One abduction.
He's taking that base though.
Wow, that base is pretty far away, isn't it?
Little out of position. I've tried that strategy before, running. Yeah. Didn't go straight.
Yeah, don't let him see you.
If it's natural, then it's a bit
Oh,
problematic.
Lings are migrating.
Once or twice.
Yeah, long time ago.
It's been a while.
I know you had some macro party. I would never leave you as an all-inner. You ain't loco.
I ain't loco.
What? Loco and all inner?
What?
Nuke launches from that low ground again, mate. He is really utilizing that position again. It's just
Ooh, nice good shots.
Going back to dealing with, and if you're not dealing with it, then she lands. But he actually.
Ooh, you know what? Planetary should have blue flame too. Or they should activate flamethrower. You know? All of a sudden, just start roasting.
because we
One
focused
big
together to
Hellbat.
make something happen, Cell is now going to lose out.
Ooh, are we gonna get that hatch? Yeah, we got it.
An eye for an eye.
Nice.
We'll be looking at
Yeah,
this.
equal.
All right, the SCV count has now dropped to 39, and that obviously means potential army supply 161. And this is where it's going to be incredibly difficult for the army of Cero. Cero has done a very good job, by the way, when it comes to the units lost resource step. He was down 6-7k very early. Now 24 minutes into this game, he's down 8k. Those are completely acceptable numbers, especially with how much Cero has been able to mine of those bases. As you really
Oh, those turrets. They're not gonna let those corruptors do too much yet. They have to break some of those.
Oliveira really does not seem to be in any
Oh,
sort of
Cero
rush
in this
whatsoever.
game, if he's
Probably because
his
of the fact
Vipers.
that his army is going to get better and better. Ghost is
It's complicated with Ghosts though.
especially if
It's
they're
very, Vipers are very expensive,
every
and
single
Ghosts could
angle.
snipe them. So yeah, you gotta also be careful with the Vipers, you know, from losing them.
There are some Terror
But
right now
he, I
if you
think
want-
like game
don't
one,
feel
he
like
was
any
going
more
for a lot of Ling
Spark
Banes.
vetoed it, I believe, in one of the series.
Oh, and the oh, he wants to EMP the the batch with the fungals. I mean, with the mind control, he wants to EMP the rest of the ghosts. That'll be a good one if he could.
Got a few more corruptors on the way from Steros as well. Build up into that Air Force, getting that answer to some of these Liberators going. He has been losing some of these corruptors because the Viking count is quite high from Oliveira as well. And the Grey Spire is right here, so if you lose this base, potentially lose some important tech along with it. And that's perhaps a problem that Steros has not really considered just yet.
11 more corruptors, 8 more overlords as well. Maybe Saros is going to make sure that whenever he engages, he has plenty of overseers. Go forward, try to drag some of those Widowmine shots over the Terran army. And the last thing you obviously want to see is have only a few overseers, then be supply blocks, and you have a tough time remaxing if that big battle that we've been waiting for, we've been kind of patiently waiting for a very long time, is eventually going to happen. I just hope it's not going to be one of these pew 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 battles where we sit there for 26 minutes and then the fight is not really a fight and then even the remax, but I am sure that Cero will find
Pew, pew, pew.
somewhat of a decent fight.
Those corruptors are just wiping out Liberators.
Those 8,000 minerals, 7,000 gas at this
Because the
point.
Vipers.
The remax
2 of
will
them
be
though.
good enough.
Corruptors do pull back. A couple of Vikings, and the +3 vehicle weapons is on the way. Yeah, I'm with you, man. We want to see like a proper fight. We want to see a couple grueling fights, perhaps, rather than just like you say, pew pew, everything dies. It's like, okay, there you go. 30 minutes of StarCraft wrapped up. This base gets back up, but there's still a Liberator here. There's still going to be a nuke attempt in that location. And we're just going to see Oliveira still putting pressure on that position as he's still trying to reestablish top right side as well. Styles going to actually dive down this ramp. A couple of Widowmine shots somehow still don't go off well. Styles' control against those mines is incredible.
Yeah. 17 mines on the map, and we're still waiting for those monstrous shots, but Oliveira says, alright, it is time to do a
Oh,
bit more.
the Liberator zone up.
Forward. They are ready to spread justice from above. Banelings rolling in deep, actually blowing up a couple of the ghosts. I mean, that's about as good as you're ever going to see. There's a Greatest Fire here, a bit of an awkward spot for a Greatest Fire. And is also researching +3 armor for those corruptors.
Oh, nice, nice potential.
Luke is gonna potentially
Ah, but it's gonna get taken out though.
We are going to see a huge fight start.
That was a good try.
Bombs and all sorts are happening. Ling Blade front.
Oh, that's
And at the
just
moment, Oliveira's just
those
losing
lings
that
just
percent.
wiped the ground.
And if Oliveira wants to rebuild, he's
Corruptors are OP.
He's still building Vikings. I kind of feel like he wants to turn away from that right now because he's lost the sky fight.
Oh,
With a nice
damn.
shot there on the right side. I mean, Oliveira had a lot of his forces there, but not all of them. He left plenty of mines behind. He left a couple of Liberators and tanks behind too. Made a bit of a mistake, right? Sieging those libs kind of on top of each other, and all the Vikings were on top of the Liberators as well. Cero saw an opportunity there for a juicy parabomb or two. Landed it. Excellent fight for Cero.
I don't understand how corruptors are so strong. They already can turn into brood lords, which are really strong. They spray, do really good with that, and they're tanky. They're fast.
There of just 2 parabombs.
Really did. Widowmine shot goes out here as we are going to be seeing these lings continue to move through. A couple of Widowmines still going off. Bayline's connecting in. A lot of ghosts getting cleaned out. We just continue to push through. That ghost count going down. And Oliveira with no money left in the bank. Mineral count is near to 0. These wheels are important then because of that, but they are going to get busted down as well as Cyril is commanding this game. He said 3 minutes ago he kind of wanted to see some big fights and not let this happen all at once, but
The pew pew is here.
Cyril and Oliveira is just bled out heavily from that.
Yeah, but he's he's obviously not there yet, right? Even if Oliveira's bank is indeed very low right now, he can spam mules for days. 11 STVs left, I mean, that's not a whole lot. The armies are still somewhat comparable, but Sarah's done a really good job in taking out a lot of expensive units. Those Liberators, those Vikings, and quite a few Ghosts continue to die as well. How many Ghosts are remaining? Because as long as the Ghost count is high, it's 8 at the moment. Yeah, that's not the number that Oliveira is looking for. If you're looking for like 17, 18 Ghosts, and there is plenty of Liberators to protect those Ghosts, you're like, all right, there's always a shot for the Terran. We have more Vikings now than we have Libs, but I actually feel like Libs are the units that will help keeping those Ghosts alive.
Bane Ultra starts to fight through. A couple corruptors in the sky. Going to be supported by parasitic bombs. It's the ground army that needs to hold on for Oliveira. He is finding some snipes, but it's not going to be good enough. And Sterile will retake the lead of the series.
Damn.
That was a whole lot of waiting for just a couple of fights, but Sterile saw likes to let.
What? Oh shit. The hell?
By the way.
Yeah.
There's another one that does that. All of them do that.
I mean, that's hard to guess, but to let everybody in.
I was like, but that's good for kids. I thought that one, or at least this one, was good for kids. It had a lot of math. Learn your additions. Maybe they could do a little bit of subtractions in there.
Who do you get?
Be a good kid learning
I got
video
Classic.
game.
Yeah.
Spirit.
Those are the games that I'd probably,
Like my team better.
like, if I had a kid, start them off with as a little kid. Some mathematical and
The only good part about this is that these are two of the stasis wardies, so can't go too far wrong.
That's not bad.
science
Second
games.
time I picked Star. Actually, no. Last Katowice, I traded my way into a Star.
So what you're saying is you picked out all the good ones before I got to pick?
Yeah, but there are multiple ones out there. I was the first one, by the way. But there was no
Yeah,
cheating.
you're the first one. You found all the good ones. Surprising, huh?
No, there was multiple.
Playing
Stars.
somehow I have
When I picked.
YouTube
really?
Premium to watch without ads, and then
That's not lucky.
watch it.
I love as well that I got a Star Karen and a photo.
I know.
You really got the full collection, right?
And I got
You know
Hero
what?
2 years ago as well. Back then I got Hero and Bunny.
I used to-
Pretty lucky because this is a random
I used to
player.
watch without ads,
Lucky Rodney, man. Lucky
but
Rodney.
then
Drone opens up that wall elf as the Reaper shows up here now.
I got like ad lonely.
So far, and as we see Oliveira, no second gas as well, so very likely to be dropping CC number 3 to once again set up with that. And of course, the big question will be how he plays it, because last game we saw 4 CCs
I was
very
like,
quickly. The game
sometimes I
was
like
8
to
max, so he's really
see a
showing
little
us
bit of
variety
ads.
things you can do on the back of 3 CC quick. So we'll see what the flavor of Alcyone will be.
Well, I feel like Oceanborn, really everything went his way. I mean, we didn't mention it anymore because the game went on for so long. The banks were so big that it doesn't really matter. But even the Banshees were successful, right? They found quite a few drones. They found a couple of queens. They gave him good information. Oliveira got a dream setup. He got everything he wanted, and he wasn't able to close it out. And to be honest, it wasn't close.
I don't think
right?
he's using
I actually
Viper's
thought if
stuff.
anything, it was going to be Oliveira was going to snipe off the army, and Sarah was going to have a very tough time figuring out what to remax on. Oh, it's Oliveira who just lost all of his units so freaking quick. I mean, yeah, it took a little while. And
But,
one
yeah,
big mistake, whether it's
I don't know.
spy units
Sometimes
or
it feels a little lonely without ads. Like I don't know, like the update, what's new, what's, you
The
know.
reason why I love him is not because of a game like that on Oceanborn. The stuff that we saw yesterday from Reyna, the stuff that we saw when he won Katowice, where he's so decisive, he's so clutch. He's got really good micro as well in those key moments, right? And he will just go for it, deep on creep. Scan, no scan, it doesn't matter. If he feels that he's got the Zergs on the ropes, he'll never let them recover. He's not going to wait until the bell rings and like, all right, let's go ahead and regroup. No, he'll try to get you out of there. And I feel like that's in those kind of games, he shines. Oliveira, sure, can play macro, can play a slower game. And it's cool to see that he's willing to put that in his arsenal. But that's not why we love him.
That's not why we love him, is our Marines going to go through, pick on away at an Overlord. And just going to push that back, try and stop Stealth from picking up further info. It will live for the moment. And once again, getting a Banshee up from Oliveira, but no cloaking attached. And obviously that's just one of the things we've seen him mix up a little bit in amongst his builds the last couple of games. Straight into that stim pack as well, staying well and true to that bio.
Sarah once more playing just a really strong series coming into this semi-final. As crazy as that sounds, we're so deep into the tournament. Like, we've only seen 7 games of Yona. We saw him play a couple of ZVPs, and yeah, it turns out that Sarah's still incredibly good at ZVP. Turns out that ZVZ is as solid and great as ever because he is the helmet Zerg. He scouts for everything, and he's second to none in that regard. We didn't really get to see him tested yet in ZVT in particular. A lot of Zergs have said that this matchup is difficult, this map pool makes it difficult. I'm gonna say, what are they, 4 games in? Sarah looks pretty damn good. It does seem that maybe if there is hope for other players in this tournament to make him bleed, that this is the matchup, but he's definitely looking impressive.
He really is. If he closes this down, gets a go up against Maru, another potential huge run for him. It's been a fun tournament. Honestly, the greatest thing for me is that I just can't be upset with whoever makes the finals. Like Maru Oliveira, Maru Serral, I mean, both amazing series no matter who wins out here. It's going to be a good rest of the day still, that's for sure.
Yeah, the story will be great going into it. Let's see what happens in game 4, as Oliveira had Interference Matrix on the way for a little bit, just in case Sarah would scout it. And you're like, I'm going Cloak Banshees. In the end, we didn't go Cloak Banshees, of course, but hoping this Sarah gets perhaps some Swarm, Crawler more.
There we go. Get a couple drones. Oh, kill some creep.
Over in the bottom side of the map. Let's get the 1-1 upgrades on the way for the Lings and Banelings as well. This Baneling Nest is about to finish up. Interesting opening here by Sarah. Different. A little bit like a Ghost River. Tiny bit surprised because I feel like that maybe Yoda doesn't want to play another game like Oceanboard. That could be it as well, but tiny bit surprised, Marty, that this is the style that Sarah was going to go for.
Yeah, I kind of felt like that was one of the ones in a series.
You know what I would have, if I had
TMZ is about to put out a tape of our idiot owner and his girlfriend.
A sex tape? It's not a sex tape.
Sex tape.
Are we bad people?
Does it matter?
Is that
clipped.
Ed Bundy?
Only on Hulu.
Donald, was it Ed? I forgot what his name is. You know what I wouldn't mind if I had what is it, YouTube Premium, to have an option to be able to like have commercials, but then have like where you don't want to watch it again. Like sometimes I do that with regular and I watch it again. I'm like, what? I thought I didn't want this.
Big melee upgrades, Bane speed starting up, lots of hatcheries just getting set up quickly. He's already on 76 drones, so it really is time to pump that army.
Because sometimes you see it over and over and over and over again. I'm like, I want to see a commercial 1,000 times. Those paid ads.
Even if he doesn't see the Banelings coming, he'll still spread the Marines immediately. But picks up a couple of them as well as the armory gets dropped too now. But, you know, if Sarah would just play his regular Roach style, and he should be fine in most scenarios, even if
right. Thank you. Another thing I learned not to want to buy. Yeah, like right now, McDonald's is expensive. Like, you know, eating at McDonald's is almost as, you know, expensive as eating some real Italian chicken fettuccine Alfredo from Olive Garden. You know, so it's almost the same. Like,
not even necessarily for those burrowed Banelings that I'm very fond of, but it's very nice to scout, right? You just put a burrowed Zergling here, burrowed Zergling there, and you can keep on track. It's kind of like having an observer, obviously a very tiny one, but it's still very useful.
Well, Banshee fires up a few shots. Zerglings will be taking some damage. We see 7 additional Banelings morphing in, and Sterile is going to have to be ready to deal with this attack right now. We are going to get the push going from Oliveira through the center of the map.
With everything.
Everything, yeah, absolutely. Hellbats are still here. The Queen's
oh, here we go.
What's up, and he gets his extra Banes ready to go.
Ooh, look, tanks are nice lined up.
I like the tank positioning, by the way. That's going to make it hard for Lynx to truly get on top of them. If they do ever manage to get there, it could be Alstem, as Sarah will send it down 2 ramps. A lot of the Banelings explode immediately, though. This is normally where Oliveira shines. And
oh!
For days, the Lynx and Banelings get obliterated.
Ooh, and that's still a lot of Marines. Those.
And Sarah is in trouble. The Banshees are even still alive.
Oh, shit.
This is where Oliveira does Oliveira things. He keeps on going. And he's
Game 5.
A long game on Ocean Board, and he rebounds with the 8 racks.
See the crowd.
On our side, and he gets himself into a final game against Daryl.
I began my 4th RD/R2 playthrough yesterday, and I have the Legend of the East Satchel at Chapter 2. Legend of the East Satchel. We're gonna be playing that sometime soon. Red Dead Redemption. We're gonna be playing that sometime soon. It's either gonna be Grand Theft Auto or Red Dead Redemption, or Cyberpunk. There's like and we got Metro Exodus. There's a few games that I'm like contemplating. Yeah, but down this one, I just know that they're gonna be. Each one of them are big. You know, Grand Theft Auto is a big game. Cyberpunk, I think, might be a slightly big game. I don't think not that big of a game, but I don't think it's a short game. Metro Exodus. They're gonna take some time, but yeah. How are you liking it? Your second, fourth? That must be good. I heard it was really good. The graphics look really good. You know, Super Mermaid is gonna be a cowboy, a cow maid.
There are some Terrans who really die on the hill. It's a bad Terran map. And then in the previous map, well, there were actually a lot of Terrans who would pick it in competitions like WTL, where you can pick any given map. So we're gonna take another look at the only true real fight here in Game 4 in Oceania. And look at those tanks, buddy. Look at the Hellbats. Look at the Marine spread across the screen. The micro off screen.
A satchel is a must-have. I'll try to see if I can get it. Act 2. If you don't get it in Act 2, you miss out.
Just no real hope there for the balance to try and connect. And again, Stella just caught being a little bit too on the greedy side of life. You know, he went into the double evos, he went into those upgrades. He did not go for the roaches, and Oliveira utilized that and abused that heavily.
In Game 5, what a treat it's been so far. It'll be a rematch of the IM Katowice 2023 final, or it'll be a rematch of the IM Katowice 2024 final, Waddy. We're about to find out. It'll be Oliveira once more. Or is it going to be Sarah who's going to give us a few?
Okay, if you're ever at a StarCraft convention tournament and you want to be on the TV, the best place to be is in the center. There's going to be 3 rows, 3 sections. In the center, in the middle. You could even be in the front, but center in the middle, you get constant, because the way that the camera arm goes. The camera arm goes, and it always hits the same kind of like routes. And the center is like the most focused part. So yeah, if you ever go to one and you want to, say hello to everybody, hit right the center in the middle. The sides and the back, not too often. Had somebody that was trying to like put a poster up, and I had to help, try to get the attention of the camera person. Nope, always in the middle.
More TVZs. What do you think the crowd wants?
I actually don't know. The cheers for Oliveira being pretty darn loud.
And hold the sign.
Always cheers for
Jimmy will marry me or something. Alright, something.
In the end, everybody will be happy because the final is going to be awesome regardless. Yeah. What a moment it could be for Maru as well,
No
right?
more limitations, looting, collecting items.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Be great, man.
Been a long time coming. I mean,
I need the saddle then. The satchel. It has to do with like, because in Grand Theft Auto, I don't know, was it
some beautiful signs.
what is it?
I love how interactive everyone's been this
Las
weekend.
Vegas,
It's been a
New
lot of fun.
Vegas.
It is time for one
Ooh,
final
I'm
lap
always
here in the
hot,
semi-finals.
heavy
We're
pocket.
going into side delta to determine who Mario's grand final opponent will be. In the top left-hand corner, representing Basilisk, let's make some noise for Cero.
Yep, there goes the middle.
Thanks for sharing that with us. In the bottom right side of Side Delta, we are looking at the main base of the normal man who just has these days where he's everything but a normal man. Representing DKZ. Dallas, give it up for Oliveira. 50-50,
I think 50-50, yeah. And that's the ladders that have cheered all weekend for both of them as well.
I mean, these two guys are just awesome. They have entertained us so much over the years. They've given us great memories.
Oh, really?
StarCraft 2. Sarah,
I gotta check that one out then. Someone said semifinals.
It's just fun. It's
So we could do Oliveira versus Rainer.
He really was struggling for a while. He gave us some emotional speeches. He's like, I don't know what it is. I promise you guys, I'm trying. I am playing. It's just not quite adding up. Whatever happens here, it's been an amazing tournament for him. And that's really going to give him momentum as well coming into the Esports World Cup, because before this weekend I don't think anybody really thought about Oliveira potentially defending his title. But hey, if he's already here, if he can bring this level of play here in Dallas, if he continues this, and he improves a little bit more in the upcoming 2-3 months, who's to say that we can't see Katowice 2023 all over again?
I mean, if he takes down Cyril here today, he can do anything, man. Honestly, I will believe it. You know, we just said the only thing missing from the 2023 run was that Cyril got knocked out in CVZ before Oliveira could meet him at any point, right? So, yes, he made it through a lot of other great players on the way.
He had a tough.
Yeah, I mean, he went through Rain or Hero Maori. Like, it doesn't get harder than that apart from if you had Cyril in there. So,
and of course, Big Gabriel as well.
Big Gabe.
12, yeah.
Yeah, they had very different. Obviously, Cyril won Katowice twice, but it's really funny as well if you compare their runs. Where Oliveira back then went 2-3 in the group stage, went 6-6 in maps. Meanwhile, Cyril won.
Big Gabe's pretty chill.
In the group stage, going 20-1 in maps. Probably one of the best.
He's a chill dude. He drinks a lot. He can drink you out of, you know, under the table.
Final day did make his numbers look a lot better, but 19-11 or 20-1. That is a difference. But Oliveira's victory was just as memorable, if not a whole lot more memorable than anything else we've seen in SC2.
Triple CC again from Oliveira, steering away from any double gas, kind of 2 base play. Still happy to go up to the 3 bases. And do you think, Roddy, that these 8 racks are just working well enough that he just wants to send it one more time with something like that? Or is that something you just can't do again against Cyril, who might just play that a little bit safer?
It's tough, but even if you play.
Oh, we're going for the reactor. Okay, so we're gonna get Hellions. Could be Widow Mines. Widow Mine drop.
So hard to find that fine line, and yeah, this has a lot to do
with
Hellions losing some of his HP as well, and it's becoming a few things. Perhaps the maps as well. Side Delta is a map that we've played on for a while. I don't think a lot of Terrans look at this and be like, yeah, this is a great 8-Rex map. It's not impossible, but it's not the dream either. I don't really know what I'd like to see in house, and maybe Oliveira had a plan initially for Side Delta, but if you've had 2 games that played out the way they did on Ghost River, and especially Oceanborn, right, where he really was able to get away with everything he wanted to, and it didn't go your way, but then you do get 2 very quick wins on the board with the 8-Rex.
Nice Overlord location, seeing the Hellion pathing.
I'm doing it again. This is what we are going to do. And I'm curious if Cyril is maybe going to build more roaches. If you're going to be a bit heavier, like 1-1 roach, for instance, fire off missile attacks. Don't make those safety roaches to then go into Link Bane or play Link Bane from the very get-go. What if Cyril just shuts him down with a combination of roaches?
Oh, that Overlord sacrifice.
That's a very different way of going about it, but it could be true if Cyril has been so good at kind of diversifying his style over time. As Overlord wants to scout, we'll see CC number 3 is going to see a starport and attack lab. Are we? No, it's not that actually, sorry. It's on the natural.
Sees the 3rd.
Matrix on the natural on that starport, just to put a bit of a fake out, pretend it's a cloak when it isn't going to be. So once again, it's going to be them 2 cloakless Banshees from Oliveira.
Could lead into the 8-Rex, because that's what he did as well in the previous game where he cancelled. Obviously, he didn't go for cloak, but he went Interference Matrix as well. Don't really want to spend your resources on this stuff, because 8-Rex is sure, the Banshees help, and they can slow the Zerg down a little bit. But at the end of the day, it's about the guy with the gun and nothing else. Now the tanks.
Yeah, the tanks are a pretty big part of it. Double engineering base starting. Again, Larry's quicker here from Cyril as he has opened with that roach.
AT&T invented the transistor in 1947 and the solar cell in 1954. But what if...
It's a different way of opening this double Evo chamber style, which is definitely not done him many favors. When he's been opening with it, it feels like he ends up in some trouble. So this time around is going to be, like I say, back to those roaches, into that leg, get some of the tech up.
Don't worry, I got it.
Trying to just be as greedy.
Took care of it.
Link's already running around with speed, making sure that Oliveira.
I think Cyril's doing military service in Finland now. Oh. After this tournament.
Just grab their Hellions and get a little adventurous. Whether it's the first 2 or maybe the first 4 Hellions, Oliveira has been very, very good in keeping them alive, but it obviously means you're not going to get those drone shots either.
They just want to get to my wallet. That's all I see, those ads.
Top here as we keep on moving on. Just looking for their first kind of pincer into one of these bases, a chance to.
They're pretty much telling me to just reach deep into my pockets.
You know, snowball rolling a little bit, but Queens are immediately here. There's the Banshees we're seeing.
And whip out them, them cards.
Yeah, he changed his mind. He went +1 melee, +1 carapace, and then he decided to cancel them, and he actually went +1 missile attacks and +1 carapace. So I don't think Cyril just changed his mind. Maybe that's like the, you know, because he's been researching melee a lot. It's like, all right, let's just kind of build in. Like, no, that's not what I want to do. I do want to go for those missile attacks, and I like it, Waddy. A quick infestation pit as well.
Oh, really?
It doesn't necessarily have to be for a quick.
Oh, damn.
Obviously, be for a couple of those infestors early on.
So he's in the
has been dropped too.
Oh, okay, crazy.
Astero feels there's such a good chance that you're going to go up to 8 Rexes, 1 Factory, 1 Starport,
It's
1
cool that they
Sport,
let
just
him.
try to win the game. We see everything. Astero has not seen everything, but has a pretty good idea, I think, that this is happening. Oliveira is doing it once more, Wadi. Can't blame him for it. There comes the Armory. And Astero, well, he does fire up the hype. This is where you start wondering, right? Like, is it going to be a little bit too greedy? From here on out, I do think Astero needs nothing but units, like 81 drones and a hive on the way.
I think Finland didn't they give him like a house or something like that?
There are
Didn't
those
they?
extra roaches. Here come the first ravages as well. Oh man, what a moment here in Game 5, semi-finals of Dallas. Who is going to
What a
advance and play
frosty.
Maru in the grand finals? Will it be Sterile or will it be Oliveira, who's getting a couple of missile turrets, buddy? Worried either about Tunning Claws or somehow his fire, but not sure if those missile turrets are truly needed.
Am I a new schedule?
What
What do you mean?
No doubt, as a few queens coming in.
Oh!
These Marines, and it just traps them for a moment, some damage lost, and that means some medevac
Could
energy
repair
will be
it.
drained.
Yeah, and also just 3 Marines, right? Like as silly as that sounds, that is going to have an impact on some of these fights. 11 Banelings on the way for Star Wars.
Nibble!
Speed
Oh.
halfway done. +1 missile attacks has finished up. +1 carapace has finished up. Don't have any spellcasters yet. With that knife coming online right now, I think the Ultralisk
That's one of the best.
pushing it a little bit. The Stero's really not all that rich at the moment. He's got a great economy, but I will be paid a Viper or 2, right? And there come those first 2 Vipers
Oh, yeah.
immediately. Blinding Cloud, Abduct, it really doesn't matter. It's both fantastic. Because once you take out the tanks, yeah, that's when the Marines are going to have a tough time getting the job done by themselves.
Yeah, Vipers are absolutely what we want to see here. A couple of blind clouds
Ooh,
to
nice.
change battles.
Kill that creep.
As you do see those Marines push back once again. Oliveira still just darting about with these medevacs, trying to find openings and opportunities. They will also invest into adrenal glands.
And
which
this
if he gets that
ESL
to finish, then
series.
brilliant.
Yeah, we'll watch
When is go
Villa
time for Oliveira?
versus Rainer.
I think it's right now.
Or TVZ. I like TVZ. A lot of things can happen.
Cyril does drop the Ultralisk ever into it. The entire best of 5 basically comes down to the next 2 fights, 1 fight, whatever it's going to be.
2 fights, 1 fight. 2 fights, 1 pew pew. Anything could happen. Ah!
Some Roach Bane already beating this army before the tanks are siege. We dive in, we pull back a little bit. That's the choice of Sterile. He does have Vipers on the way. They'll be gathering energy right now. They need to be here for this fight to jump on those tanks into Blinding Cloud. And the issue for Sterile right now is that's a big choke point that Oliveira is setting up, and he needs to find a way to fight from a couple of directions.
There is energy on that Viper, but now obviously Oliveira knows there is a Viper as well, so he can spread out the tanks. Stero's going to fully surround his army. He's got units in the bottom left. He's got units coming from the top right. This is it.
Here we go, as Sterile comes in from, I was going to say all angles, but we're missing from any other angle at the moment. It's just the top left, which he actually gets pushed away from. He does have Lings in the center. They're stopping reinforcements. Now they're going to come in for the flank. No, they turn around again. Sterile is still indecisive. He's not quite sure if or when he wants to fight this, as he's just going to be settling for reinforcement pickups with those Lings.
That is something though, right? And these Lings are about to get their hands on Adreno Glance as well. +1 melee is close to finishing up. The Queens have done an amazing job in buying time. Losing this hatchery is not the end of the world for Sterile, as long as he doesn't lose all these units. He is just waiting, getting a few more like parasitic bombs, abducts, whatever it's going to be. Banelings
Oh shoot. The Vipers.
quite happy with how all of this is going so far. Sterile needs to find bigger wins, and he's been able to get
Oh!
more.
The Bands crash in, that's the Marines.
He did fog. He did Binding Cloud the tanks.
The tanks are starting to drop, and Sterile is getting into this army. The tanks
Need to pull back. Need to pull back.
He's going to have to pick up and retreat, and Sterile is going to push Oliveira back home.
Ooh, what an unbelievable display of patience there by Sterile. Just letting that hatchery tank a lot of shots. The Queens, they were soaking up a lot of the tank shots as well. He picked up the reinforcements. He waited until he got his hands on a few more units, a few more, a little bit of extra energy as well on the Vipers. Lands a blind
Like,
glove.
how does the medevac work?
Ultras on the way.
Do you guys know? Like, when it heals, like, what's the science?
He is gonna complement his army with a couple.
What's that laser do, you know?
On the way, but the Liberators are not gonna have advanced ballistics. They don't have any upgrades. Oliveira did
Like,
fire
I know
off
it's supposed to heal, right? But, like,
no +3 armors. He's really just not that
how?
rich. He's just a 3-based Terran player. Wow, what unbelievable display of patience there by Sterile.
He had me baited. I thought he was going to fight at least twice, and he just didn't go for it again. Patience, waiting, and it really paid off for him. As now, the supplies are even, but this is such a different scenario with all of that tech up. The Ultras, Chitin is playing, starting when it started was ridiculous as well. Adrenal Glance from the very beginning. these are all things that you're not meant to have to fight against when you're 8-raxing as Oliveira, so that is a huge deal right now.
Yep. Liberators could still be the main issue. Like, I think at this point, Cero should always be fine against Marines, Marauders, and tanks, as long as you don't take a really bad engagement, and this is Cero, you shouldn't do that. But Liberators could still complicate things a little bit, but Cero knows that. The Ravages pick off one of the Libs immediately. Of course, we still have access to Vipers as well. You can abduct the Liberator, and that's when it's no longer in its shooting mode. You can also just drop a couple parasitic bombs to at least soften them up, as these Link counterattacks, by the way, are going to be incredibly
Trying to go around.
to deal with, because these Links are feisty. They've got good upgrades, +2 armor, +1 melee, adrenal glands. It's going to be very difficult. They're going to come in from the bottom as well, picking up some reinforcements.
Oh, the reinforcements.
And it seems that this is going to go Steryl's way.
Here we go once again. Steryl coming in from the top left-hand side. He baits so many units down in the bottom right with those Lings as well. He decides not to go any further. However, he's happy with what he's done. So he pulls back, maybe just a few too many tank shots going off. Would rather, again, play patiently. More units on the way out still. And this is becoming a fairly entrenched position. He wants to make sure that when he fights, it's with everything and from all angles.
Yep, and Oliveira does have +3 close to finishing up, so that might actually come into play. We have dropped a blinding cloud on one of the tanks to the bottom side.
Liberators are doing good.
Try to take care of these Liberators once more. That's another Liberator falling, as these Lings are still making it impossible for Oliveira to reinforce this position.
Ultra's coming through, the Banes as well, trying to chase the Biochitin back as best as it can. The Liberators are huge, though. They're going to
Oh yeah, those Liberators are doing good.
And while Steryl is kind of keeping
Those Lings, though.
just about hanging on in there.
Oh, it takes out the hatch. Yeah, there you go. That gives you time.
And just reset back towards the lib and maybe some more of those reinforcing tech units.
Oliveira throws down a scan in the bottom left side, wondering if there's a hatchery there as well, and there is. And he obviously knows killing a hatch is great, but the drones, they did not go
Take
down.
it out!
Will just be transferred.
Oh, that Ultra. Lucky it's Ultra.
Killed, -300 minerals. Steryl's nowhere near mixed out, but that is a bit problematic as we drop a parasitic bomb on one of the medevacs. But the micro by Oliveira initially is good, then brings it back into the rest.
Oh, those Lings again, trying to push those center reinforcements.
Those Lings just keep on stopping reinforcements from trailing across the map. We are going to go for this hatchery.
Oh, we're going to go for it.
With Ultras giving him a
go
point of impact. So that hatchery goes down. Another one lost for Steryl. Drones will have to go elsewhere. But Oliveira can lose a
need
little
some
bit more.
ghosts.
He's definitely lost momentum and position finally.
Impressive though that he got 2 hatcheries there, and he even got the kill right on the new hatcheries. So technically got 3 bases there. That's pretty sick by Oliveira, as he does have hands on +3.
Yeah, that reinforcement stoppage.
During all of this, I'm sure he is not
that was pretty devastating.
If I can morph this 4th base into a planetary, and I do still have some Liberators out, I've got +3. Might actually be playable even against Hive-Tech Zerg, and Cero did really take a pretty severe economic beating there towards the very tail end of it, when it started to look so good for Cero. As these Lings are going to find this command center, we'll see that tanks have sieged up as well. I'm really curious what Cero's going to do about it.
Yeah, I wonder if he is just going to set up to try and bust down one of those bases. Maybe he would have done if you were, hadn't taken that little bit of extra eco damage, because then you're comfortable kind of reinforcing behind the trade. If losing that, he might be a little bit more skeptical about, forcing a fight himself here. Ultra's numbers are still rising.
Oh no.
Also have a Infestor was added on at some point.
Picked
well.
one. Saved one of them at least.
As full energy Vipers move down to the bottom side.
Vipers are terrifying, right, for Oliveira, because obviously you don't have a Ghost Academy. When you've played this kind of a game, you don't really have an answer for them. And then dealing with one Viper that is a bit of...
Who just picked up Buffalo Wild Wings Go? The hamster! Hey!
No, goodness.
We already got beat-ups Go.
Yeah.
Of energy, that might be possible, but dealing with multiple Vipers and
Got him.
Infestors in the mix as well, it is going to be very hard. Army supplies, though, we are damn competitive. 122 against 123, and that does
What
mean
up,
that if
Cutie?
Oliveira just takes one great fight, it
Where's
could
the party
go
at?
his way. But the floodgates are open on his side of the map.
Is this the party? Are we at the party?
He's going to have a very difficult time ever securing that base again. He says, all right, base for a base. He is just praying that Cero gets impatient and takes one bad fight through a choke point.
Oh, run.
Shine like they have never shined before.
Biofire and Hatchery taking damage. Some Banes on that planetary is going to jump on. And we are going to
Oh
see
no, that's a dead command center.
Oliveira is going to be losing this base. He's just now established. A couple of Ravagers going to get blown up. This wasn't a free trade for Steryl. He's obviously losing base to himself as Oliveira is across the other side. And this is where sometimes Oliveira is the most dangerous.
Yeah, there we go. We've got Liberators. Liberators could be a problem. We take out the Infestor.
guys have potential. What a best of 5 this has been, and it will all come down to this. Once more, round 2, the 3 wrecks that just went on for a little bit longer.
Now we're gonna have to get closer inside.
There's not a whole lot of healing left on these units. So
Oh, there's units in his base.
And Cyril already displayed fantastic patience once, and I think he's doing it again, Waddy.
He is just waiting. He knows given time he will have more to deal with. He's doing more damage. There's no
Oh, the
reinforcements
main
ever gonna
is
make it across the
breached.
map. And then Cyril just needs to find the moment to take this army down with parasitic bombs chipping through the liberator count. We are making this an easier scenario. We're actually going to go through here with the ultras. Decides to pull back though, and that means some free damage gets done, and Oliveira gets a little bit.
Ooh, the
more
Vipers!
The Vipers as well to give him a bit more of a chance.
Oh my, -2.
Oh, Oliveira's in the air.
Well, 2 of them, he's turning around with these ultras. That's a lot of circles. If there was ever a moment when Lynx make the difference, you would think that this is it. But
Oh, his army just got.
more Lynx coming in, and it's just a couple liberators left for Oliveira. It seems
Oh, that's it.
There's been a bit of a mystery over the last few months. We know he's fulfilling the mandatory military service in Finland. Still got it. And he is going to advance into the grand finals, Waddy. That much is said. Oliveira with 1 STV remaining.
Dang.
GG, well,
It's close.
Cyril was going to meet Maru once
It's
more.
over.
Absolutely incredible game 5. It was so
Okay.
close. Oliveira almost had that Oliveira magic where he's not meant to be winning. He's not meant.
Let's see here. Here goes.
The future waits for no one, so we refuse to wait for it. Today, battles are waged in nanoseconds.
He's the goat.
Planes are piloted from the other side of the world. The future's not coming. It's already here. Join us and be the future.
That repeating that experience was very difficult. He was incredibly crushed.
Oh, did
in his
you?
Performance at Atlanta. And he's done a lot of rebuilding.
Oh,
since
Pig.
then.
Pig's casting this one.
His way in
Piglet.
the top left side of Oceanborn. A Zerg player from Italy with so much confidence behind him. Let's see if he can get back on top. In the top left side of the map, everybody put your hands together for Raider!
And at the bottom right side, looking to recapture the magic, the former world champ. Let's welcome Oliveira.
I love the way
Go,
he
go,
does
go,
set up
General
this
Cyril.
match, talking about that big quarterfinals match, which is on the road to Oliveira winning that world championship. It went down to the wire. It was incredibly close. And I think one thing I always think about as well is the tactical pause. Oliveira was like, look, Reina was getting out of control.
He's doing service over there. They're like, Sarah, we want you to have full control.
He wanted to keep going. He was riding a high. I was playing a little bit off.
Don't
I
give him
needed
that
bathroom
power.
break. And he said, you know, I just took that quick bathroom break. Just that little interruption in Reina's momentum. I slowed everything down. And he managed to completely change the momentum in that series from being down way behind. And that's something which, you know, it's something that doesn't get talked about much, but it was a very clever move for him and something which I think was really intelligent. And that, of course, is the frantic Reina we know, that guy who, if he gets the confidence going, it's very scary. And I think Oliveira is going to do everything he can to avoid playing into Reina's hands.
And Raider's going to have to use all of these mental tricks.
Raider's like vibing, listening to some music right now. Wonder what kind of
Trying
music.
to overcome his demons. Oliveira here in the quarterfinals, the lowest win rate of all players thus far coming in from the regionals versus Zerg.
Wow.
Just barely cresting 50%, and now here he is up against Rainer, who is undeniably one of the best Zergs of this generation in the world right now, today, in a quarterfinal match with so much on the line.
To be fair, on Oliveira's side with that statistic, he plays in a region which has very few Zergs. And that's where you get your easiest matches, is in your regionals, right? So when he's playing, it's you know, online and international cups, versus Dark, versus Solar, versus Reina, versus Dark. It's these top Zergs he's running into for the most part. So I gotta say, that's that. As you know, hard as that seems for Oliveira, there is a little bit of a redemption there when you look at the details of who those matches are against.
Yeah, third command center coming in relatively quick here for Oliveira. Notably, not going for the Biana-esque 2 barracks Reaper opening. This is a little bit more greedy. Just the one Reaper here. Getting some pressure done, and then very fast
Here goes the Hellions. Yeah, the Hellion follow.
Like a classic opening, you know. The
2 Hellion
is
one.
good. Its main advantage is denying creep, right? It's slowing down that kind of explosion of the creep, and I guess to be fair, that's what you're worried about with Reina, right? He became famous back in 2021 in the online circuit because he revolutionized the dual queen groups, where he'd have 3 different queen control groups, 1 defending the main from air, 2 out front, and he pushes creep forward. And just no other Zergs up to that point had split their queens up this much, and his creep would get outside his opponent's base by like minute 8. I remember there was games where Maru was like, is that creep going into my 3rd? And it was like, oh my lord, like, it was just disgusting how good Reina was at that. Since then, of course, the Terrans have learnt how to pick off those queens if they get exposed, how to dart in around and try to slow things down. But Reina, known for being all-consuming on the map. And if he gets a small edge in Zerg versus Terran, he'll cover the map in creep, he'll get to 85, 90 drones, and he becomes just an absolutely swarmy, ridiculously powerful Zerg.
It's because of talent like that Raider showcased that really changed the meta of TVZ in the modern StarCraft 2 era. Now you watch Terrans play, and oftentimes they will go for pushes that are not designed to get big damage done. Not designed to kill a ton of queens, get a lot of drones, but just to control the creep spread of the Zerg, prevent them from getting map control through the vision, through the speed, to set up for later timing attacks. And that's kind of what Oliveira is doing right now with these Hellions, with this one Reaper, with the Banshee.
Oh, we saw the command center.
TVZ openers in StarCraft 2 is he's controlling the creep spread, but despite that still, despite these 4 Hellions on the map, despite the Reaper joining them, you can see Raynor with these multiple control groups, as Pig is mentioning, slowly.
I don't think no control groups, but
consistently spreading these tumors all across the map.
Very nicely done. Armory's coming in interesting for Oliveira.
Oh, wow.
You know, Gumiho did have success against Reina with delayed Hellbat timings. He had a really, like, late Hellbat battle cruiser timing, I think it was, one game, and some other kind of bizarre ones. So definitely something which he might be thinking about here. It could just be for an awkward follow-up mech transition, but yeah, this is looking like just a giant Hellbat Banshee attack, right?
I don't think it's gonna be mech. I mean, Sim coming in is just such a big telegraph that it must be bio. Now 2 barracks, of course, following up, but I wonder exactly how this is gonna go, because when I think about these early pushes with Hellbats, I usually think about them being stopped by huge masses of queens. And I'm wondering if the Cloak Banshees in this situation, their role is not to snipe drones, but rather to add the DPS that those Hellbats need and mess up the target fire on those queens to allow the Hellbats to really dominate on the ground.
Overseer's already morphing in the front. He needs Banelings, though. Rainer needs those Banelings. He sees the Hellbat morph. He will
oh,
use
the Banshee's here.
But I don't know if he minds too much. It's everything else that's going to matter. Oh, no.
Oh, he takes it out.
Wow, slight mistake there. Banelings are morphing. Only 3 Banelings so far. Very passive from Rainer. And interestingly, Oliveira doesn't overcommit. Surprising to see someone go so hard on Hellbat just for the cancel of the 4th base. Is that going to be worth it? Only time will tell.
Yeah, with a delay coming out on the Banshees too, I mean, he wasn't out on the map as quickly as he possibly could have been with those Banshees. I thought for sure he was going to try and pick off some of these queens with that added DPS, but instead, no. Playing it nice and safe, and what exactly? Oh, is it the Ling?
Look at that.
I actually missed what happened here. That's an odd location for the orbital to be flying in from.
Yeah, that's yeah, I'm not sure. A bit of a misclick here or there. Something weird happened.
Yeah,
but it's gonna.
I could go back in time.
Probably land on the wrong base.
I'm so curious right now. My curiosity is piqued.
The replay. We got to get that replay in the reel from the secondary kind of picture-in-picture observer that we've got set up over there. We'll find out later on.
Gone Spire. Amita's here.
Reina's got 72 drones. His creeps.
Oh, because of the Banshees.
It does feel like he's a bit ahead of the curve. Yeah, Oliveira's got a very fast 4th command center there, and I think that is, of course, potentially huge, right? Oliveira is clearly planning to play to the late game turtle stage.
He's the corruptor.
This is something Reina notoriously dislikes.
Push him away.
Disliked for a long time. I mean, think of the game versus Spirit in the regionals about a year ago, where he literally was like dropping question marks and going, really, this is all you're going to do? And Spirit was like, well, I'm winning, aren't I? And Reina was like, well, yeah, but in the most frustrating way possible. And everyone was like, that's it, man. Hey, if the late game works, then the late game works. You know, you've really got to do what works in StarCraft. And Maru famously has beaten Reina many times by just forcing it to the end game, getting lots of command centers and planetaries, and saying, hey, you make a play. I'm not going to step on creep and let you spawn me. Heck no, you have to play late game.
Yep.
It's a hard
you
style
have to take it to the
but if you can do
late
it
game.
successfully, I mean, on paper, it is not nearly impossible for Zerg to actually remain cost efficient. So as long as you get it to split map versus split map, that is a path to victory in TVZ almost always because of how efficient the Terran army can be. Zerg is more explosive, it's more swarmy, it requires a lot of resources and a strong economy to keep going. Terran, they can play a bit more passively, and with Oliveira, as you said, going for that really fast fourth command center, now transforming into a planetary at the 6 o'clock position. He's adding in drilling claws. He's continuing siege tank production. He's even getting vehicle weapons started already here at the 8-minute mark, as well as 2-2. This is him setting up in what could be a very defensive posture. That doesn't mean that Oliveira is not necessarily going to attack. But should he decide to stay at home and try to play for that endgame, it absolutely is in the cards.
Try to bait the Lings to get into the Hellbats.
Now, I love this ridge on Oceanborn. Moving into the middle ground, this low ground area, that's really awkward with tanks because you can get flanked. But the tanks on the ridge behind the rocks, I mean, that's always an excellent position to hang out. And this way you can clear the creeps, start to push back, and a 5th command center does start. So yeah, Oliveira, I was wondering if he was just going to go hard on the aggression off a 4-base setup, but with a 5th command center, sensor towers going down, this really does look like Oliveira wants to play the long game. Now, Reina is interestingly going for a Hydra Den. Lingbane still skirmishing at the front, trying to
nice save.
Forward. But I do wonder, is this just going to be Viper, Lingbane, Hydra as like a flexible mobile army that kind of runs in, blows up a planetary, pulls back, goes and hits somewhere else? Or are we going to maybe see like Lurkinitis try to pop up in the back at the same time?
It could be Lurkinitis, but I think much more what you said before. It's going to be Lings, Banelings, and Hydras trying to keep the Terran under control, because Reina right now, he's playing a very high drone style. 95 drones right now. He's expanding across the map.
You got 2 Banelings hidden. Nice.
Left, taking control over effectively everything. So I wouldn't even be surprised if we saw more hatcheries go down, whereas Oliveira, he's building all these extra sensor towers. He's making some pushes into the center, but really just to exert map control and start trading efficiently, not to go for killing blows. And so, if I'm looking at this game from Rainer's perspective, I'm thinking
Banshee finally got taken out.
Economy. I need to max out. I need to flesh out these upgrades, get 2-2, get Adrenal, and then I need to start trying to kill the planetary and dampening the gas income of the Terran to stop them from reaching that end game Ghost Mech, which almost feels inevitable with the way that Oliveira is playing, now adding in an extra factory.
Yeah, the mass command centers as well. If you can start keeping the Terrans small before they get up to like 8 orbital command centers, stop them getting to the Iron Bank, that'll be big. You also want to mine these middle bases before the Terran gets too deep on the map. Rain is very aware of this. He talks about this a lot. Talked about this when he was actually on the analysis desk before Cheryl played against Maru in the Katowice finals. He said the secret to beating late game Terran is mining out their resources on their side of the map.
And you see that right there. He's already mining about the 2 o'clock expansion. So once the hatch rate gets up, and also this CC's taking a lot of damage. You got to lift that one up. Oliveira is the Ling and Bailing now coming in. We'll be able to deal with some of this bio. Nice little mine shots, but really, I'm waiting for all these things.
I'm gonna park my car in the driveway in a little bit.
By the way, look at this seismic
Street sweep day.
Lurker range attack upgrade coming in, and once that comes through, I think you might be right about that Nidus Canal. It could be a way to kind of crack the shell of Oliveira, and right on cue, there it is.
Exactly as you said it. Now, I like these skirmishes.
Time to break out the good stuff.
Commercials.
Specially designed to clean wood, glass, and bathrooms.
These aren't too bad for either side. For the unit's loss tab is something we do want to check in, because this is a game where neither side's committing 100%. These are small skirmishes, but you can already see about a 3,000 resource lost advantage for Oliveira. Now, obviously, you're going to mine a bit.
Still watching the bugs with bugs.
Overall resources on the map as Terran usually.
They're out there.
And you spend a lot more money on infrastructure, so you do need to be much more cost efficient to win the game.
Yeah, I'm going to play but later on. Maybe like at an hour or something. Because we're going to play Elden Ring with my friend Doug.
And it is so important for Terran to get gas geysers.
But I am going to play, I'm going to fit it in somewhere.
Play this Ghost Mech style. He is going for Ghost Cloak. He's adding in Liberators, double factory siege tanks. He has Reactored, Widow.
But right now I'm just kind of just chilling watching this.
3-3, all these mechanical upgrades. All these things require a lot of gas pig. And as long as Rainer could just play this high eco style. Oh, those Banelings. No. High eco style, 90+ drones. Consume the map and prevent Oliveira from taking a 5th base. He will have this game won. Oliveira needs to try to find a way to secure this 5th base expansion and remain cost efficient. Rainer is going to try and stop it with another attack coming in.
Lots of Zerglings on the front line, not a lot of Marines. Held out the Widow.
Nice spread.
Only a sprinkling of these anti-Zergling units, and that's the weak spot Rainer keeps finding. There's a lot of tanks good amount of Marauders. There's Ghosts in there. Great units to counter Hydras. But he doesn't have enough to deal with the Zerglings.
Me and
now
Doug
with
are
the
going to be
Nidus in the
playing
back as
Elden
well,
Ring.
You can see he's getting stretched in all directions. He needs to re-center his defense on that top side, but he also needs to cover his main. Now that the Nidus is being shown, this is where Oliveira needs to commit to shutting it down, which means getting rid of this Overseer and building turrets on the edge of the map to make sure that never happens again. Because the distraction this causes can be game-ending. This is so difficult to deal with as a Terran. You've got to get rid of that Overseer and that Nidus in the third base.
Yeah, I think Sim units coming down to the third right now should be able to defuse that, but Raider's going to use that as an opportunity to strike again at the fifth. This time, Lurkers coming in, Blinding Cloud on the Planetary and the Siege Tanks, but with those Ghosts there in the front line and the Banelings defuse, Raiders should retreat. Snipes coming through. A lot of Lurkers go down.
Yeah, I played against a couple pros. And I ran into a couple pros on ladder.
Ready to go, that Changeling. It was the Changeling from the earlier round. Defending pretty well though is Oliveira. He actually gets rid of it. As long as he gets rid of the Changeling. Another Nidus on the low ground. I mean, Reyna's doing everything he can to distract Oliveira. However, he's not mining the middle bases just yet. Reyna's doing really good offensive trades. He's picking off tanks, but he's not mining either of the central bases.
Yeah, and he almost needs to stop the fifth base from getting up or take those bases on his side. You need one of those as a win condition here as Rainer, because if you let the map go truly split map, Oliveira will win, barring some insane misplay. Because the Terran late game, especially if you're able to reach that ghost mech, it is just better. Zerg's job is to try and prevent that from happening by taking these other bases.
I have to leave, come back in a few hours. Have a good viewing.
Yeah,
go ahead, Cloud. I'll catch you up later on in the evening for sure. I'll play StarCraft.
Why not go for both?
I do have
trades considerably, but you're still going to be behind on the trading.
We're going to be playing Elden Ring around 10. And I gotta get, something to eat. So I know for sure in the evening I'm gonna be playing.
Those middle bases mining, and Oliveira has done such a good job of stabilizing. He's got 3 commands and is finishing.
But you have a good day. Okay, I'll catch you up.
No turrets on that right side to intercept though. This is allowing Reyna to really utilize his speed.
Yeah, I played Pig on ladder. I played Rotterdam. I played In Control. I played Party.
Barely gonna go down as
I played Pilly.
Use this as an opportunity to strike on the top right side. He realizes he's taking a lot of damage back at home, so he needs to disrupt the economy.
And I played
for Rainer, he's not really
Kauai Rice.
We missed this. The Nidus Canal has popped in Oliveira's main, and now he has
Yeah,
so many
I won the In Control. I won the Pilly one. Got my ass whooped by Parting.
He was out of position for the attack on the south, so he immediately counterattacked, but that left
him. And then Pig, Roach Ravager rushed me when Ravager were new.
The Zerglings getting a fantastic trade. Nothing to counter the Zerglings.
Oh, here it goes.
And that Infestor just spotting everything. Beautiful play.
Another Nidus network pops in the triangle third here of Oliveira. That's going to be even
more. I used to play Red Alert back in the days.
More than that, just as Pig was saying.
Not live. I was playing it back PlayStation. No, Nintendo 64, I think.
Nidus right here with these lurkers. It's going to be so hard for Oliveira to regain control of this position, and Rainer is doing an excellent job of keeping.
Yeah, I played Party in Korea, the Korean server.
Oliveira is slowly getting back into
when I was grinding to GM in Korea. Ran into him. The only reason why I knew, because he was using an alias, was he was streaming, and his viewers were telling me, "You playing Party?"
Slow down as a player. He's still maxed out with a lot of commands, but he has to get rid of the vision in the back. And because he hasn't got a Viking, nor does he have turrets on the edges, these Overseers are going to keep sneaking along the backside. And he's letting Rainer continue to do that, and that's been the big thing that's costing him. If it wasn't for those Niduses, I guarantee you Oliveira would have a much better defensive setup on the front. As it is, he's got a giant army. He can still come back in this game, but these Changelings are just wreaking havoc.
The Changelings are getting so much done as Rainer's trying to distract Oliveira here on the front line with Lings and Banelings flooding in. He will get pushed back by the main force, but that Nidus is about to pop in the natural expansion. Another lurker burrows.
Wow, this one doesn't have too much stuff inside. Nothing.
Of course, I played Alpha Star as well.
Wow,
I also played Alpha Star.
Rainer didn't have enough army to feel confident continuing with that engagement. The counterattack comes over, which means another one of these middle
I beat Alpha Star.
Remember, Rainer's had a big economy for a long time, but he's not able to really mine any of the middle resources. The longer this goes, the more it's going to move in Terran's favor. It's already a 10,000 lost resources advantage for the Terran. The Lurker's doing damage in the back. He's even in range of those SCVs on the low ground. If he starts shooting those, this is a big problem.
I'd love to see you play Red Alert 2 online.
Needs to try to find a way to get in control of
I know, it's like old school. Is it free to play now, Red Alert? It's so long.
He is down at 150 supply. Raynor, his bank, it's still flourishing.
Red Alert and Command and Conquer.
Resources in the bank. Another Nidus network about to pop, and the natural expansion does get defused.
Then after that it was
and by these Marines and Oliveira, he needs to try and
Warcraft for a little while.
This game down and quiet it, because you see
Then StarCraft came out. I was like, yep.
It is huge right now for Raynor.
This
He
is
even
it.
went down from 95 drones all the way down to 80. That's a lot of because of Oliveira's aggression, but Raynor is making a conscious decision not to repopulate those because he wants to try and attack. And he might be setting up for a big play with this Infestor Pig.
Could come in from behind that Infestor.
Look at the ghosts.
Yeah, if he gets the dual Infungal on that, that'll be huge. But the Infestor needs to be far enough away from the bio that doesn't just get shot straight away. Uh-oh. Oh, no Hellbats, no Marines. Tanks and a few Widow Mines. Not going to be able to answer these Zerglings. At any time you find those unsupported units, those do so well. Abducting a couple of Ghost and Snipes to answer it. But I think still very good trades for a Raynor that is still relatively rich compared to Oliveira in this game.
Army supplies.
Oh man, look at this.
However, Raynor is getting a lot of damage done, but this is a dangerous position. Raynor only has about 500 minerals left in the bank. He's adding in another flood of about 60 lings, but the mining has been severely disrupted. Over there on the left side, you see some distance mining. At the top side as well.
They still want some money from it. Probably for the servers.
Oliveira take a strong fight with the kind of ghost that he has. He might be able to ride the momentum because Raynor has such a discrepancy between his gas and his mineral bank. He can't really repopulate. He needs to be able to survive and stay safe.
Raynor's not really mining off that top middle base, is he? And I think it might even be a misplaced hatchery. So you see he's finally transferred. It is a misplaced hatchery, but that's been not mining for minutes on end. And that southern base got denied, and it was blocked from being retaken by a Widow Mine. So yeah, Raynor's mineral income actually isn't ahead right now. You can see Oliveira's got 2 blue arrows. Now obviously that's mules in action. You drop a few mules, you're going to get ahead on the income, at least temporarily. But if Oliveira remaxes, it is scary for, as we've said, Raynor's resources will run out in the long run much faster. Now, he's still got a few minutes where he does have a lot more minerals available, but only a few minutes. Once those minutes are out, Oliveira is naturally in a stronger position. So Raynor's still got some real urgency here. Those changelings, good handling of it.
Would I rather play Maru or Cero?
This time, I feel like Oliveira is really
That's 2 different races, though.
And their changelings this time around.
These infestors burrowed all over the map are so scary. Look at the full force of Raynor.
I would say Maru, because it's Terran, is more complicated. Zerg is just going to be a swarm.
But keep in mind, Raynor, again, very minimal bank is another Nidus perhaps. Just like that Viper does in the main base of Oliveira. Another engagement coming in. Raynor is going to back off, and he needs to be careful. The upgrades are good, but
you pick Maru too, Ike.
187 to 170, but Oliveira with the army supply lead.
I'd love to see Raynor rotate to that northern base with a big wave of Zerglings, get on top of those tanks, or get up the middle. He's just going to try and bust the south head-on collision. And a good trade, picks off a few tanks, pulls back. He's looking to really stretch out Oliveira's attention. Oliveira struggling to keep up with Raynor's pace. I mean, Raynor's pace on these Nidus worms. Talk about an annoying person to play against. He's just non-stop, giving Oliveira something to worry about. There's changelings coming in to scout ahead. And Oliveira, he's trying to keep pace right now, but Raynor is making it so very difficult.
I love that pop right there on the Widow Mine, and then coming back in, not really giving Oliveira the anti-ling shots that he needs from these splash damage units.
Another Nidus in the main. How many of these is he gonna manage to do? This is why I'm saying, like, a Viking.
Oh my god! I think
you've got to get a Viking.
One Viking.
At a certain point, this is so distracting. And to be fair, there's an argument that Raynor is spending 75 minerals and 75 gas each time. So, like, in the very long run of the game, Raynor's wasting a lot of money on this. But that's super long term, man.
This is the second time that Raynor's done this, where he knows that the Nidus canals are getting defused by these siege tanks that are set up in the main base, the natural and the third. So now he's just flying the Overseer over the siege tank and popping it in melee range. So
yeah, that's what you do, though.
By bio, or it has to unsiege. It's just so funny. Is more Balings now morphing in the base of Oliveira. The game quieting down a little bit here is going to allow both players to replenish their banks.
I'd really like to see Raynor bust that middle ridge planetary, because I think that area is Oliveira is so focused on the top right and the bottom left. I think if you bust the planetary on the middle high ground, you can actually just start running into the third base, and that's so vulnerable. Ghost gets some snipes off. Lings do
Keep
jump
them
on
occupied.
top. There's more tank slibs and Ghost behind it, though. This is an angle
And
where,
you
like
might
I said, I
land
don't want
a
Rain to
Night
keep
is Swarm. You
fighting
never
here.
know.
He's got to rotate and hit the other areas, because on this map, if you get trapped into fighting head-on repeatedly on that ramp, it's going to go massively in Terran's favor. And we can already see that. Not only is the base getting denied, but Eunice Volstab is getting better and better for Terran. Another Nidus Worm gets shut down. Rain has let Oliveira max out. And for a style that was meant to be inefficient, remember, he's mined almost nothing off the middle bases. He's only now starting to mine the right side middle base. He's just not able to get Nidus
Still
Worms
trying
up
to find
anymore.
something,
He's
but the
still
tanks
on
aren't
mid-bane
allowing
Hydra.
it.
He's
Got the tanks in good position so that the Nidus Swarms don't become big, huge problems.
It feels like Raynor is losing a little bit too much momentum. 15,000 resource discrepancy between these two players, and with Oliveira securing these additional bases in the bottom left after retaking the 5th and then going for the 6th, now suddenly he has a pretty substantial income advantage. For the first time, he is ahead in supply, he is ahead in bank. Oliveira, he might have weathered the 20-minute storm that was the aggression of Raynor.
Yeah.
And if he's able to take down a high-yield base like this one, fully saturated on minerals, Raynor is going to be in a world of hurt, Big.
I mean, Oliveira's been turtling since minute 7, basically. You know, it's been 15+ minutes of him just turtling up, sitting there defensively, getting to this position, but he's there now. He's got so many orbitals, he's got so many mules, he's still building more and more command centers, and he's hanging on very nicely, and Raynor seems to be running out of ideas at this point. This has always been the stage which Raynor hates playing. If it gets to this point where it feels a little bit of a stalemate, that's where Raynor starts to really struggle. And this was obviously Oliveira's plan from the start. I'm going to put you where you hate to play. This has been a big issue for you over the last few years.
The lurkers now. Gotta get the tanks. Oh, he's got ghosts. And he got the infestor. That infestor would have done damage to the ghost.
But he has not been able to find the
Another infestor. You shouldn't have started making a turret in right. Like Maru should start. Oliveira should start doing more turrets in these kind of areas just when he got stamina ghosts. Keep the infestors from being a problem.
On these ghosts and then collapse with all of the banelings, all of the hydras. There is a world where Raynor can bring this back.
He's got to make the play soon, though. He's got to make it soon. He's got to go for it, but he gets scanned again. He's got to make that play at some point. He can't be sitting here just weathering this storm because he's losing these trades very badly. Anytime you're sitting on the edge of tanks and ghosts, it's terrible for Zerg. Movement and mobility is your advantage, but Raynor seems to be stuck in a bit of a corner right now. He feels like he needs to defend.
Ooh, Nidus Swarm kicked in.
He's got to go and blow up the base.
But the mineral line that he's attacking is not pretty mined out.
Yeah, more snipes coming in, and just look at this defensive position. Oliveira is locked in. The Ghost, they're basically even taking the forefront of the fight. All the Lings and Banelings going down. I think Oliveira might have just broken Raynor.
I cannot believe it. He let so many Nidus Worms get up. Most players would crack under that pressure. That he refused to crack, and he gets game 1 on the back foot.
All right. I gotta go park my car inside because of street sweep. I'll be right back.
And his opponent, hailing from China, a player who has done such intelligent moves so far to allow him to play his comfort zone and stop his opponent getting any of that momentum. Let's see what he's got in store for game 2. In the top left side of the map, representing Dragon Kaisi Gaming, it's Oliveira.
So much support for Oliveira and the crowd, man. He has his own cheering section. That is amazing, and I love this guy. He shows so much passion for the game. You can see it when he wins any single match on stage. Like that game 1 versus Raynor, the headset comes off. He is living the moment. He is feeding on the crowd's energy. His fist is in the air. I mean, this guy is just electric, and what a stunning game number 1 here against Raynor. I want to see what he brings to the table here in game number 2.
Just a normal man, you know. That interview after that World Championship, I think, will be something most of us never forget. He just practiced like he'd never practiced before, adjusted his time zone to the tournament, something he regularly does now when he's traveling to events. So there's zero jet lag concerns. Just does a little bit of a physical workout and then basically trains, studies videos, watches replays for the rest of his day. Lives and breathes StarCraft. And I really feel like Oliveira traditionally was a timing attack player. He was good with multitasking, momentum, aggression, all those standard Terran traits. But how he has evolved to the point where he can play a game like that is so defensive, where he's saying, look, I know this might not be the thing that traditionally I'm the best player at, But this is the best way to take advantage of Reynor, and it worked just like clockwork. Beautiful play.
Like I said, it was a Maru level defensive TBZ, and Maru makes it look easy, but it is not easy. There's very few Terran players in the world who can make a style like that work, and the fact that Reynor is just so against it.
Ooh,
He plays to his advantage, and yeah, look at these
Ooh.
Lings coming in.
Why they pulled back though?
He was greedy with those infestors. I think he hesitated too long. He had a lot of opportunities, like with the infestors, and he never really like pulled the trigger.
STV scout, really safe play, and because of that, he keeps the Reaper at home. So Reynor just keeps his Zerglings alive. Says, look, if I go in there, I can deny the building time a little bit.
But hey, you know,
oh, he does go in. He's going to commit. He's just committing a bit later. Oh, the Reaper does survive. Oh, is that Command Center going to finish? No, the STV has to pop off, and the Reaper and the Marine come to the low ground. He should be able to out-micro this. Oliveira, the 3 Zerglings coming in. You don't want to be losing that Reaper or that Marine.
What a hero, STV. Give that STV a medal. Give that STV a medal. Look at those kills.
Wow. And he even shot the depot. He said, why was the door open? No.
Commercials! Oh, there's another one of those.
That was clean, dude. SCV getting a kill as well. 6 Lings. Not a good opening for Reynor so far. Only a slight delay on the command center, whereas his hatchery was very delayed. And that really just ends up being a nice start for Terran.
And it's a really fast 3CC opener again for Oliveira, but this time a little bit of a different flavor. He's not going for the Hellions, instead going for the Cyclones, and only just now adding in the second gas, as well as the second barracks.
I wonder if he tries to sneak the Cyclones out. I know on this map, the Overlord can't quite see the edge.
Very
so you'll
close.
sometimes see the Overlord like just move off the pillar a tiny bit, and the Cyclones might try to sneak out that like northern to the right edge.
Yeah.
I think they usually get like a glimpse of it for like a fraction of a second, but will the Zerg actually be watching? Because obviously if the Zerg knows there's Cyclones, you just build a bunch of Speedlings, you can surround them, they're not that scary. But if they kind of catch you off guard, they can be quite annoying, picking off Overlords and just generally being a nuisance unit to deal with. It looks like Oliveira may have just made these as a general safety precaution though, because pool first often leads into like a 5 roach pressure. So they're not too bad of a unit to invest in. He actually even uses a scan to take out the Overlord, prioritizing information denial in this game.
Yeah, a bit of an expensive move there for Oliveira, but anything you can do to keep a player like Reynor in the dark, who is just so smart when it comes to reacting to information. He's very much like Cyril in that regard. I like that move for Oliveira. Anything you can do to try to make the game harder for Reynor to play.
And Reynor seems to have almost bought the bait a little bit. He's massing Lings. So he's got like a bunch of Lings going for
Oh, there he goes. He's gonna go scout.
Massing extra Zerglings at home rather than droning. So it feels
a lot
like
of drones.
Okay, you're gonna go for Cyclone Hellion pressure.
Lane speed's already in.
Against this, because it's almost always Cyclone Hellion. You never in this matchup see 2 Cyclones into 2 Barracks Marine, but that's exactly what Oliveira is doing. This is why he denied the Overlord. So now you got a Reynor who, if he knew what was happening, would go up to 60 drones really early, build very
he would have known he had a chance to drone.
Below the Terran in workers, which is a rough start for the Zerg.
Nice mind games.
At the same time as the evolution chambers.
Morning,
so at
dude.
least Reynor won't be too far behind in that regard. They should be equal in step at least through 2-2. If both
I
players
know,
are on
my
top of
internet
it. And I think Reynor right now
was
might
trash
be catching
yesterday.
wind because those Hellions and Cyclones, they haven't presented themselves. Even the Ling
Oh, he still hasn't seen it.
engineering base still sees those 2 Cyclones. Reynor isn't exactly sure what this could be yet, but I think he knows he got duped a little bit because you see the drone count starting to really balloon right now. And now with a double medevac Marine, I mean, this is not the best feeling if you're Reynor.
No, not at all. He's been duped a little bit. Now, he should be fine with the Queens and the Zerglings at home. He's going to have to build a few more Lings to make sure he's safe. And there is 3 more barracks going down behind it. Oliveira's being very tricky, playing a very off-meta style. Hard for the Zerg to read. You never want to let a guy like Reynor just play against something that he's comfortable against. And Oliveira and prioritizing Reynor being uncomfortable, trying to throw him out of his element. This is just a smart way to play this whole tournament long. The last few tournaments, Reynor's looked a little bit more tiltable. He looks more upset when he loses games. He used to always have a smile on his face. Win or lose, he'd kind of be laughing, jamming out to his music. And I really feel like this is something Oliveira's clued into, and he said, let's just not let you feel confident. I can't let you be that vibing Reynor who's got his Italian rap music in his ears and he's just having fun. I need to make this as
Italian rap
as possible to win this series.
He's succeeded in doing that in game number 1 for sure. I mean, that was 10-15 minutes of Reynor just absolutely in frustration, trying to kill a Terran that was so close to death but wouldn't die until the inevitable happened and Oliveira grew too big, took over the map and just won the game from that position. And now once again here for Reynor, I mean, losing the momentum and feeling a little bit duped like this, it's not the best feeling. He's still behind in workers to an Oliveira who is macroing up to 3 bases and continuing pressure like this on the left side. Transfuses coming in, will save that queen. Oliveira should be able to get hot pickup. after trading out these Marines for some Zerglings. And behind it, a lot more powering coming through. Second factory added in. Armory very early, perfectly timed for 2-2, although +1 armor just a touch late here for Oliveira. And I think he's keying in that Raynor really wants to lean heavily into this Ling Baneling style because Widowmine production already being reactored out and that second factory be a lot of anti-Ling AoE pig.
I love that choice. I really think that adds a lot of depth to your style. And Golden Ore is a map where it's really quite good to defend on 4 bases. Getting a 5th base is quite good. However, I do think the Zerg can quite easily take the corners if you turtle up. If you play like that last game, think about where those middle bases were.
So we're getting upgrades. Bailing speed.
To the 4th and 5th base
more Lings.
In this map, they're out in the corners. So I think if we end up in a similar sort of holding pattern where Oliveira with a fast fourth command center seems to be wanting to go to a big macro game, that may be advantageous to Raynor. So far, just denying creep, looking for little trades, and doing a good job of not overcommitting. And Raynor also has done a great job of getting back into a good macro spot. I mean, you give Raynor an awkward opening, you make him take some damage, you make him misread the play. Two minutes later, he's back on 85 workers, he's ahead in supply, and he's just like got... Creep spread's not amazing, that's the one thing he's kind of missing, but I feel like his ability to recover is just so sick.
Drilling Claws now coming in as Widowmines are being produced 3 at a time. And even vehicle weapons getting researched here. If I'm not, or vehicle armor, excuse me, for Oliveira. So some tricky choices coming in. I love this engagement for Oliveira.
Oh, the trickling Lings.
Pretty big value as he kites back away from the Lings, but Raynor defusing them quite well. Now recharging with the Banelings. Is it going to be enough? Transfuses are buying time right now on the Queen. Banelings rolling in. The Widowmines are on cooldown, so he should be able to shoot Oliveira away for now. But oh, look at that focus fire. Wow.
Oliveira bringing out some of that old school Beyond style. Frustrating focus fire, poking in and out, letting those Marines get some good trades. And this is low risk pressure. Remember, at any point he gets in trouble, he picks up, he walks away.
Yeah.
He's got a Liberator in the back as well. Where did that come from? Oh my gosh, Oliveira is flowing right now. Gets a couple of the Queens, pulls back there, only loses like 1 or 2 Marines in a medevac. The Liberator is dancing around, and Raynor struggling to keep pace.
4 kills on the Liberator.
Damage, no, but it's doing such a good job of slowing Raynor down while Oliveira races up to that 4-base setup.
Yeah, he's using this to get an even better position on the map. These Widowmines burrowing could get really big hits on the Lings. Not the best one right there, but still good enough for Oliveira to rotate around to the other side of that 3rd base.
Still no Spore Crawler getting rid of the Liberator. That's still denying mining on that 5th. 101 drones for Raynor though. 101 drones. Raynor is rich in this game. It's a style that he popularized many years ago, was going up to 110 workers, playing Lurker, Hydra, Ling, Bane. A return to that rich Zerg play here for Raynor, but his creep spread not what we're used to seeing. He's still building more drones. He's actually going to go back to almost 110 workers. Wow.
Yeah, that's... Well, I mean, with the losses he's sustaining right now, he kind of needs that economy to keep fuel in the tank as Oliveira is just unrelenting pressure. Look at that shot with the Widowmine. So many Lings going down. Cyclone even absorbing some of the impact right there on the Banelings. Not a bad trade for Oliveira, and the pressure on the right side and the left side is just unrelenting. He will not stop.
Biomine coming in. Those mines not getting the biggest shots, but it's just non-stop, as you said there, State. The Ling Bane is starting to go down. We're going to have to check in on that unit's loss tab at some point after these fights, because it really feels like Oliveira is not losing anything important, just a few Marines and mines here and there, and Raynor is just stuck on the back foot, getting gunned down. The Biomine do take a bit of a Baneling hit there, and we've got still the drop unloaded on the left side, ready to come in again. Yet another good Widow Mine shot, and there we go. 3,500 resource lost advantage. Yeah, you're down 30 workers, but does that really matter? I don't think you want that many more workers than this as the Terran. You'd rather max out on a bigger army.
Nice Widow Mine, that little Widow Mine placement.
On the way, 5th command center. The only thing, actually the 6th command center building, 5th one's already floating out. His +3 armor got forgotten for a little bit, but he's already noticed it. Oliveira is on point. He's just not getting carried away. A lot of people in this high pressure moment looking to qualify for that Esports World Cup, looking to get to the semi-finals as such a massive tournament here in Dallas. Would get excited, but Oliveira is cool, calm, and collected, and Raynor is unable to get him out of storm.
Raynor, even with his 107 drone economy, just really can't muster the forces he needs to get maxed and actually take some good engagements here against Oliveira. I feel like every single trade is just Oliveira killing Raynor by 1,000 cuts. Now another fight coming in. Hydras have entered the field here for Raynor. That should be a strong backbone behind the Ling Hydra, or behind the Ling Bane, to try and hold on against this aggression. And that means that Oliveira, for the first time in a long time, not getting the best trades. Even that Ling.
Yeah, those Widow Mines aren't getting the best.
Very well played there by Raynor, but Oliveira behind all of this, I mean, the medevac count has ballooned to an extreme number. He's taken his 5th base already. Remember how hard it was for him to secure that 5th base in the previous game. He's even floating a 6th, and I know you said that taking the 5th and the 6th base, it is a lot harder on this map than it is on the previous map on Oceanborn. But if you are able to secure it, especially if the Zerg goes for the gold base, which overall has less minerals than the blue base in the top right, it can be devastating for Zerg. I think if Raynor wants to win this game, he needs to control the bottom left and the bottom right at minimum.
And there's no mass orbital. This is not the same late game as the last one, right? This is, I'm going to take the bases in mine with high SCV count, but I'm just getting a big army. I'm keeping the pressure up. It's non-stop biomine pressure. Now with Libs and Ghost coming in, this is an unrelenting style where Oliveira is doing a giant macro push, and Raynor has such a high worker count. I don't know if he can get enough army up to clean this out. Hydrolink Bane running forward. The Hydras are getting pushed back. Remember those Hydras. 2-2, 3-2 stun for the Terran Bio. Oh, more units are coming around from the left there, looking to intercept any reinforcements. He does hold it back for now. And Oliveira looking to siege those libs forward. Drop finds the bottom left base. The gold minerals are
look at those libs.
He's coming back on the north at the same time. The Banelings coming forward, but the libs and the mines are going to defend.
Oliveira still just taking such good trades, and I think you hit the nail on the head right there with 100+ workers right now. Once Oliveira reaches these maxed armies,
ooh, he takes out that bottom left.
Raynor, I should say, is having a very hard time taking the cost-efficient trades that he needs. I believe he needs lurkers. He needs lurker range to really anchor the defense. Otherwise, I'm not sure how he stabilizes, because it's now the 13-minute mark. Raynor, one of the best players in the world in terms of creep spread, if not the best, has been completely stifled on the map. Now setting his eyes on the 9 o'clock expansion. Will he be able to take that planetary out?
Ooh. Failing Hydra does catch it. Raynor finally gets a big opening here. And
Lowe's knows when you need a new appliance, you want it at the right price. That's why this Memorial Day,
remember, Oliveira doesn't have mass orbital behind this yet. He's not as strong. Burrowed Banelings are there. They do detonate. Nice Burrowed Baneling move for Raynor. But he might have to give up this base, and indeed he will. He's going to abandon ship, move those drones to the bottom left side. Would be the way to do it. He's got a Nidus Worm on the way. Lurker upgrades coming in as well. Oliveira pushing forwards. Both sides are not that high on the bank. Oliveira slightly below max. Raynor is maxed out. He's getting a lot of Hydras. He's got to be wary. Too many Hydras can chew up your supply, and they get kind of stuck behind each other. You've got to have enough Ling Bane to actually force those Marines and Marauders to get out of there.
And now Oliveira pivoting into the main base, and then a little bit of hesitation, instead trying to decide where the best angle of attack is going to be. And my goodness, I mean, it's such a high medevac count. He can just choose to take the fight he wants to take. Wow. Look at the Ghost dropping in, sniping almost every single Hydra. This base gets denied here by Oliveira, and at the same time, this squadron moving down into the bottom left side should be able to take out the gold base unless Raynor has lightning fast reactions. The triangle third once again getting denied as Oliveira, with what looks like on the board a relatively small force, is just everywhere. Look at the mobility.
Wow, the way Oliveira is playing this, from super turtly on Oceanborn on a small map to on the big map playing a faster, more mobile, pushing style, and Raynor purely defensive. For a player who's known for his aggression, his speed, and his micro, Raynor has been playing a very defensive style, and he hasn't quite been able to really be like saying, hey, I'm running into your base and blowing your workers up here. I'm attacking over there. The Nidus Worms are finally going to start trying to go up, but Oliveira is so aware of it. The Changelings do get in though. 3 Changelings splitting between the bases. That's going to be a big playmaker later on.
Yeah, if Raynor is able to make that happen, I think he really needs a win like a Nidus Canal in the main base to disrupt the flow that Oliveira is in, because there is so much momentum behind Terran right now. Equal on bases with the Zerg, with additional command centers, means that his income is going to be miles ahead of Raynor's, and already the cost efficiency is just through the roof.
2 Banes ready to just pop some foos.
I mean, once again, this army, look at it.
And then nothing happened. But it was a little off a little bit, I think. Oh, it sucks when it's off a little bit. But I feel like he was looking at it more as vision anyways at that point. He's like, well, at least I know his army is over here. And moving back out. Ooh, snipes. The snipes. He's getting it. Oh, he's got lurkers. Yeah, his main base.
But he's got nothing at home to defend. Okay, Lings do come forward. Parasitic bombs are big. The Zerglings getting on top of the overly.
But there's still too many Terran.
Move for Raynor. He won't be able to take it out on this first move. He needs a remax, but he's out of cash. Oliveira has more money in the bank. Raynor desperately trying to jump on top. He needs to get more defenses up. Not having detection for that previous round of Ghost and Snipe is a big problem.
And now Oliveira in the main base is cleaning up the whole.
Oh, and it is a medevac.
Up as well as Ghost and Widowmines, all the reinforcements from Oliveira's infrastructure is being dedicated to stopping these lurkers.
Got so many
and
lurkers.
for
You
right
got
now,
the
Raider
Liberators.
does have a little bit of momentum back on his side. He was able to defuse the situation. He's even potentially going to take down the Ghost Academy here. Another Nidus Canal pops in the natural expansion.
Oh no.
That's going to allow 2 lurkers
The
to come
scans.
in, even more problems. But my worry here for Rainer
Oh,
is
he's losing all those SCVs. 6 SCVs died. 7.
4-hatch eco. The gold base and the triangle third are only just
I think he needs
that is such a big problem, isn't it? I mean, he's rebuilding them. He's
Raven.
got 70 workers, but every lurker he pops out here, he's kind of dripping units into a point where it's going, I'm distracting you. But he's not really killing much. What do you get? A few more SCVs, put a few buildings on fire. If he was killing bases at the same time, that would be worth it. But I feel like the last few Niduses and Lurkers there, they basically fed value to Oliveira. He's still got Command Center in the north. He's still got very good mineral income. You can see those little blue arrows in between both of their minerals on the bottom of your screen. That does tell you the income advantage. Sure, Rainer's got a massive gas advantage. That does not matter.
Oh,
They're
here
both running
comes-
low on
oh.
minerals. The Lurker Hydra Viper push. This is so important. If you can get that Command Center, that'd be big.
Yeah, Rainer needs to
Oh
win
yeah,
right
he's
now.
feeding their
Oliveira's
Command
make is too high.
Center.
Ducks coming in on the Liberators. One of them going down. The second one also going down. Parasitic Bomb also huge. Able to get a lot of damage. The same time in the picture-in-picture. See the lurkers on the right side. Taking down the Planetary. If they can't stop that from the repair, will be huge for Rainer. He's getting the wins on the map that he needs.
Dude, I thought Rainer was pretty much done for in this game, but he shows what we always know Rainer has, and that is fighting spirit. There's a reason we call him the Italian Stallion, because he fights from behind all the time, and he always shows us that attitude, that ability to make comebacks. A player who is renowned for fighting back when things get tough. Ling, Bane, Hydra, Lurker coming in, abducting the Libs at every turn. Those Liberators are just not getting any value now because the Vipers keep taking them out. The Lurkers don't have an answer. There's no Ghost here with energy.
God, what is the ghost count right now? Do we even have enough to get on the field to stop this push in the natural expansion?
Oh,
There's
no.
only 3. And Oliveira, who just a moment ago had this massive bank, it has been completely exhausted trying to handle this, and Rainer has somehow miraculously, with this attack on the bottom left and the top right,
Oh,
taken
those
away from Oliveira
Vipers are
and
doing some
almost
damage.
even tied up the resources lost in a blink of an eye.
Yeah, I mean, this was huge. The Viper usage against the Libs has stacked up so much value over the last 2 minutes. They have taken so many Libs out of siege mode. The Hydras are just taking them down so simply. What beautiful play. And the Widowblades are starting to recharge. No oversteer on the front line. You've got to be a little careful of that. But if he can defend this attack at home, that's all that
Yep, he's
matters.
defending it.
The Ghost gets shredded. The Banelings, the Hydras hold.
That was a good try.
Rainer fighting back from behind and avoiding a 0-2 position that would have been nigh impossible to come back from. That was an impressive win.
I thought Rainer was dead to rights, Big.
Yeah.
After that being this
open map, we might see a similar style again from him here. It would suit this map very well. In the top left side, your reigning world champion, Dragon Kaiser Gaming's Oliveira. If I was Rainer, I would also be worried. State, I love the way you put that. Both of those games were going really not in the direction he wanted. And if I was him, I think I'd put on that Italian rap music. He does seem to be singing to himself. So that's number 1. Step 1, get in your groove. Step 2, build Mutalisks. Step 3, don't let him get to 4 and 5 bases. Like, just play a little bit of a dicier build, getting that win so you're not on match point.
This was a
You're
hell of a
not to be
GG.
defeated.
It was a good
Do something
game.
a little riskier here. Get the Mutalisk, get the mobility game, because we know that, honestly, who can match Rainer when it comes to mid-game multi?
It was getting dicey.
If you get a lot of movement and counterattacks going, Rainer is second to none. Clem might be one of the only players who can really match him in that sort of speed game. The weird reason, you might be looking at this and saying, what are you talking about? Oliveira was all over him. Yeah, that's because Rainer was playing purely defensive. All he did was make like 100 drones and sit in his corner of the map. There were no Ling Bane run-bys. It wasn't until the Nidus Worms came out that Rainer started doing things. And at that point, Oliveira had a lot of defensive, kind of static up planetaries and tanks. I want to see Rainer really take this game by the horns and try to take Oliveira out or put the pain on him earlier. Maybe a Massling Bane style of just 3 or 4 gases, but really get in Oliveira's face and punish him. When he's on your side dropping, run Banelings into those worker lines. I don't think you can be purely defensive against a guy as good as Oliveira. We've seen how hard those first 2 games were.
And Site Delta being a map with so many different pathways you can run those Lings and Banelings across, I think is the perfect one to do it on. It is difficult to take those ulterior expansions on the other side of the map. It's hard to go up to 4 or 5 bases here as Terran, much harder than on Oceanborn. much harder than on Golden Aura. And so for
Just kind of
Raynor,
wear
I think
those
I'm
things
right there
out.
with you. If he gets a lot
There's
more
no
aggressive,
queen.
if he
Wonder why there's no
leverages
queen just
that
yet. Oh, there it
90
goes.
plus 100 plus drone economy
Popped
into
out.
pure
Goes a
aggression and
third.
tries to punish the greed of Oliveira, I think he absolutely has a chance to end this game far before Oliveira is comfortable, because Oliveira right now in the late game, he feels like he is firing on all cylinders. He was very close to winning game number 2. In game number 1, there were moments where it was scary for him, but they were in the mid game. They were not in the late game. And so for Raynor, I think either in the mid game, you come in with the aggression, you go for the kill early on, or in the late game, if you get to 110 drones, you got to spend all those resources on going for the kill. Do not let Oliveira build this army that he's been assembling from game 1 to game 2.
Good Reaper dance.
Indeed. We're going to see how Raynor addresses the problems he's run into. Do the same, do it better, or does he change up tack and try to mix it up? For now, Oliveira is playing a very straight up 3 CC, 3 command centers. He's got Hellions on the way. Does look like he's going to swap over to Banshee production as well.
Did you get your ladder on today, City Cutie?
Remember, he opened this, but he did Cloak, and he also went for Hellbats in game 1, but didn't really commit to it. Looks like Fake Cloak this game is the name of the game. He's upgrading Interference Matrix because it is the cheapest upgrade, 50 minerals and 50 gas. So if an Overlord comes in, he sees the upgrade and goes, oh, you're making
I gotta eat something a little bit.
Makes oversteers, he makes spores.
Yeah, in 2 hours I'm gonna be playing with Doug.
You might go in, pick off a drone or two, but you're not actually really committing. This is just a move to kind of get a bit of air control.
Yeah, and I love him canceling it, spending that money on other resources, on other things that cost resources, and then restarting it as that Overlord is coming into the main base. And Raynor is going to come in. Will he get duped? Will he start it again? Interference Matrix? But now's the time for the fake. It is a little bit too late. I'm not sure if Raynor is going to be falling for that one. If he was paying attention, he would have seen that that tech lab was not upgrading at the moment.
Ooh,
it should have been
sacrifice.
upgrading.
Indeed. Did the first Banshee already come out?
Yeah, he just popped.
Okay, so he is making 2 Banshees. Stim does start up there, and of course, now that the Overlord's gone, you can cancel Interference Matrix for good, but he cancels it and restarts it. That's odd. I guess just in case the Zergling runs into your base.
Yeah, this is kind of crazy, actually.
Oh, here it comes. The Hellion run by.
No, I'm going to swap to Ravens, and I need to be able to interfere.
Oh, shoot. One was already almost dead.
3 minutes from now in the late game. Okay, State? Pig, you guys don't know what you're talking about. I figured out the meta.
I know.
Started up again.
I'm trying to catch up with some of the games.
You know you want to, Oliveira.
I like making the tech lab go all bubbly. That's all.
Well, double engineering bay coming in. 3rd command center already planted at the triangle 3rd here for Oliveira as the Hellions now approaching the 3rd base here of Raynor, looking to get some damage done. They are able to stop these creep tumors and slow Raynor down a little bit. In the meantime, Raynor, it looks like he is going to find this 3rd command center, perhaps not just yet.
Indeed, Hellions are rotating around. Banshee's trying to clean those Zerglings off.
Broly cat.
On the way. So it's going to be tanks for Oliveira. No surprise on this map. I mean, this map has some lovely tank positions. There are ledges all over the place and these kind of little
That cat think he's bailing.
Tuck them behind. Double Evolution Chamber's a bit greedy for Raynor, and I like that. I like greedy play. I like get your fast upgrades, you know, go real smooth explosion into the macro situation. It doesn't look like a Mutalisk build for me, which I'm a little disappointed with, but like I said, the other thing I'd like to see from him is a 4-gas mass Zergling play, where you stop at maybe 70 drones, you just massling Bane, and he comes across with Marines, you roll Banes into the natural in the 3rd at the same time, you just look to overwhelm. You kind of wait for the Terran to push out with those pressures and you punish them for it, and so far, 73 drones, mass Zerglings, it's looking like Rain is getting set up for potentially that sort of game.
Yeah, 4 gases, Baneling speed now coming in.
Good morning, Buzz. How you doing?
Only 73 drones.
I'm just chilling real quick, watching some games.
Coming in as well, as Rainer's going to have a lot of larvae to work with, and Oliveira now moving across the map. He's adding in the armory to get 2-2. Siege tanks continuing production right now. And
were you able to watch the stream hack?
Marines, couple of medevacs securing the middle, but look at the creep spread here in game number 3. Compare this to game 1, compare this to game 2. The Hellions didn't really accomplish the same job they did with other units in game 1 and game 2. Raynor has
Baiting
a
should
pretty
roll
healthy
faster.
spread of creep on site delta, which
The
again,
more
with
they're
all these
together.
different pathways, it's hard to get a good creep spread going on this map. It requires
Morning
a lot
with
of endeavor, it
series.
requires a lot of queen energy.
It's actually so labor intensive, man.
Yeah, this is one of the hardest maps to really do it on.
Oh, killing that creep, that's good.
To spread all those tumors, it actually does take a fair bit more attention than, say, on Oceanborn, but it's going to be spreading that creep pretty well. You know, he's respread it in the north where he got slowed down before respreading in the south immediately. Up to 78 workers now is Raynor. But you can see not much trading going on yet. The units lost tab still very dry as it's been a slower paced style for Oliveira, not committing as much to the aggression. Those Banshees are more of a defensive unit than anything else. You don't really want to lose those, especially without Cloak. And there we go, Burrow and Hive. Okay, so Rain is not going to go for the counterattack style, but he is going to rush up to Hive. I'd love to see an Ultra transition. We don't see it very often. I do feel like if you get it early enough, it can work really well. But I would imagine Vipers, Adrenal Glands, not to mention getting 3-3 is huge. Speaking of which, Rainer has got 1-1. But he's forgotten his 2-2 for a moment, and he will need to get a move on with that because Oliveira's starting to push. Oliveira's got a
Rain trying
and a fourth command center
move out to the reinforcement. Maybe going to the base.
I think he might be afraid of this push.
Might be trying to go to the main. He
Right
gets
now.
in!
I love this counterattack coming in. As the Mighty Bow Wall is not up. The Lings are flooding. Siege Tank also getting in position on the natural. Now look at these Bailings finding relatively good connections at the third base, but Oliveira's standing army is still a little bit too much. Drones are going to have to evacuate from the triangle third, and this is one of the
31 SCVs, 33 SCVs dead.
Trying to stop the tide of Hellbat's Banshees. Siege Tanks and all of these Marines flooding in. Wow. Oliveira's army in the
37,
front door is huge, but do not forget the counterattack.
41, 42.
43 SCVs have fallen, the number continuing to go up. Oliveira's economy basically decapitated here. He needs to win with his push.
Absolutely. This is a very intense moment right now. Oliveira has an amazing position, though. He's got ramp control, but if he goes too far forward and those Banelings connect, it's going to be a bad time. Look at this. Baneling nest going down, but he's already restarted it. Rainer is on point right now. Look at this spread he's setting up. He's got a flank going around the left and the north at the same time. Oliveira's reinforcements cannot get to the front. He's trying to move through the middle, but I don't think he's going to get there because he's got to walk across creep to reinforce.
There he goes.
Rainer's going.
Yeah, the flank coming in on both sides. Rainer sandwiching this army with Ling, Bailing, finding connections on everything Oliveira has. Submarines, the reinforced Marines to survive. This might be enough to continue pushing forward.
The immediate unload was beautiful. Oliveira says, you just used up all your Banelings, mate. And he shoves in decisively.
Oh, damn.
Trying to get out. He just doesn't have any Banelings. 14 Banelings and 30 Zerglings.
Take out the Baneling nest.
80 drones. But oh gosh, he's got no Baneling nest now. His queen's trying to hold on as best they can. The Banelings trying to rebuild. Oliveira might only have 20 workers, but he is obliterating Rainer's economy.
Yeah, and he still has command centers.
So Oliveira's if Rainer can find a way to stabilize with Bailing hits like these ones. There is a chance for him to come back, but still Oliveira. His army is very injured.
We're healing.
Hard for Rainer to deal with in this position. And Rainer knows he cannot stop the force. The counterattack from Rainer, absolutely massive, but Oliveira persevering with a push to the front is going to bring it to match point.
Wow.
Hey, here we are.
Final match.
Are on Alcyone, match point. And this player right here, the Red Zerg, needs your energy if he's to continue this run in the playoffs of DreamHack Dallas. Representing Basilisk Gaming, it is Rainer.
Lingist.
And in the top right side of the map, representing
I mean, queens need to be a little nerfed. Queens need to be a little nerfed. They need to use queens. Allow Zergs to get too many drones. You know, there needs to be a little balance in the macro side. Ravens need to be a little faster.
World champion, as we do have an exceptionally long gap between seasons this year around. It's been kind of nice for him to get about a year and a half, 18 months at the top before he does potentially get dethroned or gets the back-to-back.
I wonder what kind of opening we're gonna have from Oliveira. He's shown a variety of different
So what percentage of your losses could you have turned into wins if you had upgrades?
Non-stop
a lot.
attacks on a 95
percentage-wise
for minute after minute after minute. And then in game number 2, he turns that on its head. He doesn't play Mass Orbital. Instead, he invests
the ones that I've lost
into army. He brings
probably
the fight
say
to Rainer. And once more,
at least 50%.
Coming through with this
50% of them.
timing attack of
Only because I also play off the wall, so some of them are not possible for upgrades. But whenever I go upgrades,
what is he going to bring here on Alcyone? I'm kind of leaning towards another
tends to be a bit strong, you know.
If you're able to control the middle, which I think,
so I feel like if I upgrade with the strategies that I have, makes me a lot stronger. But then they die quicker, so it's like
That often
still don't
leads
get my
very
practice.
well, especially in the Korean meta, to a siege tank push, hammering down the third base that cares.
Because I always have
very
resources
quickly,
to
spiral out of
upgrade.
control for the Zerg.
Hit that 8 racks. I mean, I think we were watching actually. I can't remember who it was. It was Zerg vs Terran series. And I think Rainer was actually watching it with us, and he was going, "Look, Alcyon, you know, 8 racks, it's going to happen." And indeed, the Terran 8 racks on this map with the big marine tank push, and it was doing really well in that series. So I think it's something Rainer's very aware of on this map because it is such a strong strategy. And the way to dissect that, probably going to be more Lingbane counterattacks, you know, but just being picture perfect.
But yeah, I do find the game gets easier when you upgrade.
It's just scary, man. Once they get that,
They're
watch
just,
how it
you
gives
know,
such
they're just
easy
strong.
to control on this map, and you can branch off from that in many different directions.
Like
So
you can
I
tell,
think
like
you've
when
called
you
a
go
very
up,
solid
when
strategy.
I
If
upgrade,
we're predicting it, if
I can
Rainer's
tell
talking
when an
about being on this
army
map, surely
just
it's not that
doesn't
good,
want to
but
die,
no, sometimes the strategies are just that
compared
good
to
that
when I
it's
don't
still worth
upgrade
doing,
and the
even if
army
it's a little
goes
predictable.
poof. You know,
Siege tank positioning can be so
so I
clutch.
kind
And
of,
also the way that Oliveira is
I'm
building
probably
up these games, he's
really
playing
good
a
at
little bit
feeling the
greedier than your
difference
typical Terran would, especially
of
in
how
Terran.
good
Coming out of
upgrades
Asia
are.
in the GSL, you almost always
Because
see
I'm
that two
always
barracks on the
playing
low ground.
without them.
Oliveira,
Like,
no,
oh,
he just goes
this,
one barracks, he gets to the factory faster to control
these
the creep
VCs
spread
haven't
much more
died
quickly here
forever,
against
you
Rainer.
know?
He gets his third command center
It's like the
faster as a
planetary
result,
with
as
the
well. His economy
Neo
is
Steel
on
armor.
fire in the early
When you
game.
use Neo
And
Steel
there was a
armor,
stretch where me and
but
Taste
you
were
only,
casting it felt like
you know, but you use
every
the other one
PvC
without it for a
period
while,
of
you can
almost
kind
a
of see
year.
the difference. You're like, oh yeah.
Half the games were these 3 CC builds.
Now that I have Neo Steel armor, I would have died,
like you're
or
saying,
the
and this
command
is the
center would
best
have
map
died
for it.
if
Oliveira is doing one of the
it
best
wasn't
openings
Neo
for
Steel
it
armor. You know, you
in
can
terms
see,
of
you
greed,
can
and I'm
memorize
just
the
wondering
difference
if that's going to be the cards
a
here,
little
but
bit better
Especially
too far ahead
when
of
you're used to
ourselves.
not
Especially if he
upgrading.
doesn't go cloak. I'm really with you. Like when he skips cloak, he does like to do that to then hit a timing push a little bit sharper, right? And he's a big fan of skipping cloak. He did it against Rainer back when he won that world championship. He talked about it in his interviews afterwards. He said he copied this off Innovation, an old Innovation build, he said, where you skip cloak and it just gives you that little 100 minerals and 100 gas. He says it doesn't seem like a lot, but often the Zerg ends up reacting the same. They still build spores, they still make a lot of defense, and you still get to use the Banshees as a defensive unit. And that's often their main use, right? Stopping Ling run bys, denying a few creep tumors on the edge, but never overcommitting with them. And what I like is like you don't get lured into overcommitting. You don't have cloak, so you're not tempted to just dive in a worker line and be like, oh, there's no spore, let's go. And then you lose both Banshees and you're like, well, that was bad.
Yeah, and oftentimes in those pushes, as we saw in the previous game, just a handful of Banshees, 1 or 2.
Oh, he's getting in. Oh, nice.
Paired up with the siege tanks, it adds a lot of firepower.
I would say
If you're
50%
now Bailey,
of the games
that's about taking it down
would be fair.
It gets a lot of damage done.
Because a lot of times I have the army and they're really close calls, but with if I had upgrades, it wouldn't be a close call.
The 1-1 timing leading into
The upgrades are really good.
Often the time that you're going to be looking for Terran to get more aggressive. And
But how are you going to get good if the upgrades handicap
We're going for a
you?
pretty quick glare there. We haven't really seen too much else in terms of the follow-up other than the fast 4th base. It looks like, yet again, another very macro-centric play, but the first big diversion. We see a Roach Warren in the production tab. So Rainer is thinking of playing that Roach Ravager into macro style. Now, this is a style where the Roach Ravager is really good holding off like an early 8 racks, any sort of overly committed fast push, but the weak point is when you're maxed out.
I love this Banshee just trying to get as much damage
Still
as
trying to
possible.
get it.
Set up for the second Banshee on the right
There's
side.
no way.
But
no.
yeah, this is not
Oh, so close. But that hatchery's almost dead.
Will bring the
So.
Queens out of position, Pig, but look at how many lings we have for Rainer. What a nice throw out on the Hellion, dealing a lot of damage.
Looked like
But,
a misclick, but it actually worked out really well for Oliveira. I was like, oh no, AFK Aliens, you know, he's away from his keyboard, he's not watching, but actually worked out pretty well. Losing one Banshee, not the end of the world. The 1-1 upgrades are on the way for range, which means Rain is committing quite a bit now. He could, if he wants, commit to the old 1-1 Roach timing. The reason we think that's pretty unlikely is that production tab's already telling us this man wants a quick hive. He wants to go back into Banelings after +1 range, probably gets melee upgrades, Banelings, goes towards, you know, all of that more standard style. And the Ravages, the Roaches, is just a way to hold on against the threat of the 8 racks Marine tank push.
Oh, we even have Tunneling Claws coming in here for Rainer. I love this against the style that Oliveira is playing because should Oliveira go for the siege tank push in the middle, these Tunneling Claw Roaches are so good at causing mayhem on the Terran side of the map, but already the Hellions coming through.
He's not building a 4th and 5th reactor. Oliveira is incredibly committed right now.
Yeah.
He's cut worker production already. This is the spirit push right here. It's a fake 3rd command center. Queen's trying to hold the front line. The Roaches don't have Roach speed. The Ravages are still in low numbers. Rain is caught with his hands down. What a surprising push from Oliveira. This is getting in there and it's getting so much damage. damage. The queens are all down. Uh-oh, Rain is in massive trouble. He biles the tank. It finally falls, but there's no answer to those Marines.
And now 1-1 is finished here for Oliveira. He saw his opportunity and he took it even before the upgrades were done. And Raider losing a lot of production right now. 9 more roaches in production. Should start to step the tide, but it might be a little bit too late. These drones really
that's a good hold right now. A lot of Marines. Oh, only 1 medevac though, and it's already drained.
Oliveira was not able to break him, but it's still a lot of damage dealt.
Wow, I can't believe it. I mean, this is such a Rainer-esque thing. To be so greedy, to go 6 hatcheries, 5th base on the gold, macro hatch, hive, and double upgrades, and to 75 plus workers, and to still hold against the 53 worker timing. No one else can do this. We've always talked about Rainer being famously greedy. And the thing is, I don't even know if greed's the right word. Because if you always get away with it, it's not greed if it can't be punished, is it? That is the clutch ability to hold on that only Rainer is able to show.
Yeah, now it's
Roaches are strong. And then the Cyclones aren't that good anymore. Two roaches.
Roach speed and research.
You know?
Tunneling Claws, again, is on the board. So we might see roaches start to move across the map as soon as Rainer stabilizes back at home. And Oliveira, he needs to try and find some damage with drops like these. He spots the gold base. He knows that Rainer's economy is going to be out of control. But the thing is, he just lost so much firepower in the middle of the map. Look at the income advantage. I don't know if Oliveira can really punish this.
That was such a big push. He wanted to make it look like a standard build, right? It's like, I got my 5 barracks. I'm not even building reactors on my 4th and 5th barracks. I'm just going for the throat. Mass unit production. Let's go, go, go. And, you know, he's got the 8 racks now. He's going to follow up with a big 3-based all-in attack. It does still find potentially a weak point at a Hive Tech where Rainer's so high on drones. He's got a lot of supply in Roach Ravager. He's having to rebuild his queens. His creep spread's not amazing, but the Vipers, the Ling Bane.
Being unemployed can actually boost your career. Pathrise, we've helped over 2,500.
As it grows, the massive income advantage. I mean, especially with that gold base going, this does feel to me like Rainer is so far ahead after holding.
I just heard.
Should be able to pretty much just A-move Oliveira's army when
I just heard, give me money.
And destroy.
I don't feel like Oliveira is going to have enough time to build the army that he needs to stop Rainer before all of these upgrades kick in, before the Vipers get high in energy, before the Ultras come out on the field, as the Ultras Cavern just got planted down, halfway complete. And should those pair up with +1 Adrenal Lings, Banelings with speed, Blinding Cloud on the siege tanks, I don't know how you take the fight as Oliveira with such an unrefined army, but this is the one opportunity Oliveira has to make it happen before any of those upgrades are complete. And he is
Dean.
canceled. He might have found the timing pig.
Oh, where are the
That was a perfect timing. No Banelings.
So greedy, he should not fight. Rainer has to just run away, make Banelings, and be patient. He's got such a massive worker advantage.
Yeah, because those things are not gonna.
He's just got to make those Banelings, which he's not making too many. 16 are done. He's got 5 more morphing. If he can get on top of the Marines, this could be a game changer. The bio is already triple stimmed. It's so wounded. It's deep on creep. Oliveira goes for the throat, but the Blinding Clouds cover his siege tanks. Most of the Marines do go down.
Liberator's sieging right now on top of the Roaches and Ravagers.
Oh, he's holding it.
These units from breaking this position. It seems like Rainer is barely going to hold, but the reinforcements streaming in for Oliveira, attacking the gold base. Rainer might be sustaining so much damage, big.
He's just lost 3 hatcheries. 3 hatcheries go down. You got 75 drones, but nowhere to mine from. He's not mining in that top left base. Oliveira is at double the armor
28
supply.
drones
Oliveira
dead.
With a brutal round 2, and Rainer was simply being too greedy, not having any.
Oh no!
Going to 95 workers on 6 bases. He was going for
too greedy. Getting punished.
Every single piece he could in the game. He was trying to have his cake and eat it too. And Oliveira with round 2 of a desperate all-in, and it was an all-in. I mean, he's just started his 4th command center. This had to kill Rainer, and I can't believe it. It actually found the mark. Oliveira, a mixture of passive, turtly, slow play in game 1 and also game 2, but then super decisive timing attacks in game 3 and game 4. Not to mention this one. This is brutal play.
Oliveira on the brink of destroying Rainer here and finding his way into the top 4. Rainer is fighting for his life, but
oh, picks up the tank.
The writing, it feels like it's on the wall. It's only Roaches and Lings in production. Rainer does no longer have the economy to sustain what he's been building up to this entire time. He can't get the Ultralist out. He can only afford 1 Infestor. He only has 1 Viper on the field and cannot afford to get more.
Not enough gas.
Forward is going to stream through all these Lings, and I think Oliveira.
Oh, this is it.
Here we go. Big Blinding Cloud does land, but there's no units doing damage for the Zerg. And the good game, well played, comes out. Oliveira.
Dang.
Sweet.
Let's see. find one last one.
Just want to leave. 12 hours of uninterrupted
Commercials.
Leave.
All right.
Choice
The last
Hotels is
series,
the
and I
family of
gotta
brands with a hotel for any traveler
rest
you
for a
want
little
to
bit,
be.
eat,
Like #1 chef
and
Dad.
then come back on. We're gonna play some Elden Ring.
He's over that slump. He's looking fantastic. Hero has just been finding
Counter-Strike?
his groove recently, but of course Cyril has absolutely
You saw the
ridiculous
icon?
Zerg versus Protoss.
What do you mean?
For years, it's just
What do you mean
been
you saw the
rare to
icon?
see Cyril drop maps, let alone series to Protoss players. But is he going to be able to bring that level of control? Because Hero at the moment has something special.
Oh,
going for him,
Counter-Strike.
and that is a perfect blending
Yeah, I
of
saw
his
what you
chaotic
mean.
aggression, where you never
Yeah,
know what he's going to do.
I thought you
and he
meant
could pounce at any moment, but he
Command and
combines
Conquer.
that with
Yeah,
perfect early game
we just
management.
got
His openings are crisp
Counter-Strike
and very hard to keep up with.
and the Counter-Strike Source.
In the right side,
Because there's two different versions, and I have Call of Duty Modern Warfare downloaded. I think I have to download the Source one though. We'll do some shootouts. So, you know, maybe today or tomorrow we can play some. I have to get into my shooting. Luckily, we're playing All of Us, and all of us, Last of Us, and Last of Us has some shooting. Not too much shooting, but gives me a little shooting practice.
I cannot wait to get started. And already we have a very early
Yeah, I have one of my viewers that wanted to play
not batting an
Source.
eye, immediately takes the third.
Yeah, his overlord, the moment he saw that probe, he powered up a 17th drone, went to the third base, and he's happy to just get that ling speed and protect it. It's a hard to defend third base, right? It's pretty far out there, but I think not panicking and just sticking with this method will be fine for now. Hero harassing the workers there, of course, trying to bounce them off that mineral.
Hero
patch.
versus
Only
Cyril.
one worker can mine at a time, but if
Should
he
be
stops
good.
mining quickly before actually harvesting the 5
Would
minerals,
you like another
you can
race
see they're denying
for
it.
more variety?
Cyril's mining, just making that early game difficult.
Yeah, PBZ, when you send an early probe scout like this, I believe it was the 13 pylon
I
scout
mean,
coming in
it
from Hero.
wouldn't
You lose a little
hurt,
bit of money
but
back at home
I
because this probe
personally
obviously
think
isn't
that,
working, and it's micro like this that Hero's doing
you
on screen
know,
right
they
now
could
that
just
kinda
kind of
makes
like
it
bring
pay for
out
itself,
some of
because
the
they're also costing your
classics
opponent a little
every
bit. And I
now and
can't wait
again,
to
like
see what
in
kind
the
of
next
aggressive
patch.
build
They
Zero
bring
is
out
going
the
to bring to the
Reavers
table on
for,
this one, because
you know, for
beyond
Protoss,
any
and then they
doubt,
bring
in
out,
this matchup, I feel like
you
Hero
know,
is going to be the aggressor from game
you
one
know,
to
a
game
different
three. I would be
unit
surprised if the
you know,
roles
a Goliath,
reversed, but Cyril is
for
one of the
Terran,
best defensive players of all
and you know,
time, and
something else for Zerg.
it's just tough to
I think that
about
they should
exactly how
bring
these two
back
are
some of the
going to line up. I mean,
classics.
Hero 217 Stargate coming in, not
I think it'll
missing
be
a
fun,
single
you know,
beat
to
despite
mix
the early
in.
probe scout. Asking for a pause very briefly. But as you were saying, Pig, in a matchup that I believe more than potentially any matchup in StarCraft 2 is dependent on the early game.
Yeah.
Hero has perhaps the best early game in PBZ of anyone in the world.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, the only person I can see coming close to him recently is MaxPax, where they both have this fluidity with their Oracle Adept, where you don't know where they're going to hit. And, like, it looks like you're defending well when you move
Some
out with the
lag.
Queens to intercept, but it's almost always a bait, and they, like, loop around the back and go, nope, you left your mineral line exposed for just 2 seconds.
I would,
That's the
I
drones,
think
get
I
in,
would,
I'll get out, and,
you know,
I
before
feel like
a
Hero is
fourth race, I
so
would
very
like to
good at
get
doing
some of the
that.
classics
Of
into
course,
the
Cyril, as you
StarCraft,
said, very controlled
you
and
know,
contained.
2
Now, Cyril
ladder.
gets a good read on his opponent. He does a lot
You know,
of
bring
very
out some
aggressive timing
Dragoon
attacks in this matchup, but
or
it's only if he
Stalker.
can scout what you're doing and identify a weakness, right? He mixes in a lot of like cheesy ZVZ builds, Zerg vs Terran builds.
It'll
That's one
add
of the
more
things there was
variety
evolution over
to the
last few years,
possibilities, you
is
know,
where he
of the
went from, you
game.
know, a very consistent player who always defended every game. Now he mixes in so many kind of off-color, weird openings, catches.
Do you think the game will die in 5 years?
This is, I
No.
would say, his most
StarCraft?
defended matchup, where he
No.
does like still just adopt that defensive stance.
Not at
But
all.
if Hero
Not
gets a little bit
StarCraft.
overly fancy, you gotta be wary.
StarCraft is
You
like
know,
a game
Mass
of
Roach,
chess.
Ravager, Queens getting taxied to the other
Chess
side
is
of
a
the map.
very
These
old
things
game,
are all in the arsenal,
and
so-
Absolutely agree with you.
do you think chess is gonna be,
Stargate
you
finishing up, and
know,
it's actually
dead
the avoidery
in 5
opening here
years?
from Hero. Not necessarily what I had expected to begin, and of course, here on Ghost River, this Adept can be so annoying. Trying to get one drone kill. Cyril, morphing a Spore Crawler, able to dodge that last shot. The Adept will survive.
Very nicely played. The Void Ray, of course,
What's that
denies
for?
vision.
Server
Sets you
IP
up.
for
A lot of the
okay.
time, Void Ray goes into the 4-gate Glaven.
Well, later
right?
when
That's one of the
you
most common
I'll
follow-ups.
add you. I don't
But
know any of that stuff.
often, it could be to Stargate as well. Sometimes you just take a third and play Blink. But the Void Ray denies information, and it makes it harder for the Zerg to figure out, like, is there something tricky? Should I be building Roaches blind? Should I be trying to get up a Spire, you know, to counter air units? And that's what just adds that little bit of guessing game where Cyril is going to need to show his scouting prowess and his skill as the first Overlord goes down. The third Nexus is placed. That's going to put Cyril in a little bit of a supply block.
And it seems like Hero is just going to play this with a little bit of greed, immediately throwing down the third Nexus. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw him follow up after perhaps the second Oracle, a Twilight Council and a Forge, and go into Blink play, because here on Ghost River, as you were pointing out, that third base can be a little bit difficult to defend. And hold on for a second, because this is one of the
this match hurt your feelings. I love Hero, so I don't know what happens or how things happen.
This is a pretty favorable trade here for Cyril. Picking up 2 of these early Adepts.
But I always go for Hero.
Like this one, especially if you're a player like Hero, you would love to continuously warp in Adepts to a count of about 6. Then send them across the map, try to pair them up with the Oracle, as Pig was mentioning before, to find damage as you transition to something like Blink, like +1 ground weapons, as you continue to scale on your side of the map. So Cyril kind of taking a little bit of that momentum away. Actually,
game's the best soundtrack
with this.
Yeah, the
that I don't know.
Control group
so many games.
I want to fight. I want to get revenge. They killed my drone friends and I want to get it back. But no, it does get sent home to go back in
like
line.
more retro
That's
games,
be the best
like
way you can contribute to the war effort, mate. Oracles are going to come forwards towards the natural right now. Let's see how good Cyril's defense is. 2 Queens and a Spore. Well
Ninja Gaiden.
Cyril really on point with his defense, and Hero not trying to force the issue just yet. He tries to skirt through the main, but good focus fire. You can see the Queen focus firing the low hit point Oracle, and that's Basis Trap. All it's going to do is deny a tiny bit of mining. He's so smooth with that defense. This is the Cyril difference. The early game ZVP of Cyril is disgustingly good. You just can't find openings.
Yeah, Hero's struggling to get really anything done. Now with the Void Ray coming in, it could charge up on that 4th base and potentially force the Queens out of position to make room for the Oracles, but no, instead Hero actually just going to activate both of them. He wasn't able to use that energy earlier, and that is going to force a cancel and a drone kill here for Hero. So you can't win everything. Just take the fights that you can, and that hat-trick kill, Hero's going to be happy with that at the very least. I mean, not getting drone kills is very painful, but a matchup that is so dependent on early game.
The Contra theme.
Oh my goodness, Hero, what are we doing?
Contras, yeah, the old classic ones. I don't know.
That starts to shut
I
things
can't
down.
remember
Metroid. Range and a Hydra Den. Now, a lot of people still think
I can't remember the music in Metroid.
Every game, but no. Says no, I've got an advantage. I can swarm you with
I gotta get back. Yeah,
if I just get
can't
a
even
ton
remember
of
most of the music
same style we
these
just
days.
saw Dark do against Trigger, it's really difficult to stop if the Zerg has a good early game.
Yeah, especially against somebody that's playing pure Stalker the way that Hero is back at home. He is building a cannon, but primarily this is just going to be pure gateways. Stalkers with +1 ground weapons and a lot of Blink. Is Hero is hoping to get some damage done, but once these Hydras come out and they add the DPS on the back line of the Zerg army and they pair with the Roaches and the Ravagers and the Queen on defense, I don't think Hero is really going to have any room to start getting damage done unless he gets some insane trades.
I mean, yeah, it's more about surviving, right, than getting damage once the movement comes across the map in maybe a minute's time. Cyril will move out. It's going to be like, okay,
what is that?
A gateway at the front. Hero does this every game. Roddy was talking about that earlier. You know, you can expect the forward gate blink pressure, but I mean, you're going to get swarmed, and having your production on the other side of the map can get a little bit.
Well, the gateway and battery.
Stalkers both being microed pretty well so far. The Zerglings not finding any actual damage. Technically, you can defend anything with Blink Stalkers, right? It doesn't scale that well, but if you're blinking back, you're using battery overcharge. If you get enough Stalkers,
gotta kill that rock, right?
In theory, yeah, but it's hard to pull off against a player of Cyril's caliber, especially with this kind of unit composition that he's running Roaches and Hydras. But at least to this point, Hero has been taking very favorable trades, but now Cyril's hand is getting revealed. The Roaches and the Hydras still not yet in critical mass. In these small numbers, Hero still can slowly creep forward, find some damage, blink back, just shave off a couple of Roaches, a couple of Hydras, get some damage done. Because really without the Roach buffer,
that Cyril has. These
I like
Hydras, they would
chance
go
of
down fairly
picking up
quickly
a
to these
general
stalkers.
specialty
Yeah, I
added
mean,
for
this is really good
StarCraft
micro,
2.
but I don't think Hero should be committing in, should he? I don't think he
For
can actually
example,
overwhelm
player can
Cyril,
choose
but it looks
between
like Hero's stuck in an aggressive
bomber,
mindset when he needs to be
defender,
flexible and he needs to be
attacker,
defensive right now.
specialties,
I think picking off units is
general,
good, but he's
and
getting
bonus
killed.
stupid. Oh, I see what you mean. And each one have specialties.
Quite a few Hydras go down pretty quickly. Bile does land on the Stalkers. The Stalker
That would
micro
be an
blinking back, but there's
interesting
plenty of Roach Hydra left
concept.
over. Only 2 drones falling, and all of the Oracles and Zealots just get flushed down the toilet.
Yeah, that was an ambitious blink forward there by Hero as he continues to warp in stalkers on the back line, but the Hydra count basically dissipated here for Cyril. It's only 3 standing in the front line, and this is where
You would have to try to determine what your opponent is so you can understand how to play it. Oh.
The Pokemon trading card game Scarlet and Violet Twilight Masquerade. Available
Commercials.
At Ralph's Pharmacy, Care
2 of
is
them.
saving you time by making
Back
it
to
easy
back.
to manage your prescriptions. We can contact
possible, and while that wasn't ambitious, Blink Pig, did a very good job of isolating those Hydras on the left side with the Oracles, getting damage done, but the question is Cyril's Remax a little bit too much here as more Roaches and more Hydras are streaming in? Now, on the other side of the map, Hero, he's starting +2 ground weapons. He's building a 4th base, which Cyril now is scouting. There is a fallback plan, but he is stuck in this unit composition where he constantly needs to fight, because if Cyril just builds Roaches and Hydras with no chip damage and moves across the map, Hero is dead. He needs to bring this fight, and he knows it. 2 more Robos in production.
Yeah, as you said, you need to be able to picking off units as they come across the map using the blink micro to maximum effect. If you sit at home, you don't get enough room to micro. But even here, you can see a couple of Stalkers go down for a few Roaches. Roaches, much cheaper units, much more cost efficient if you're trading even numbers. The Zealots getting surrounded by the Zerglings. 4th Nexus did get cancelled before. It's now being rebuilt, but he should be able to get that up with just a few more warp-ins on that side of the map.
And now the Hydralisk count is getting to a point where Blink Stalker Micro becomes
Get them storms or disruptors.
Even without this front line of Roaches, I mean, there's only a handful of them on the map right now with more in production. These Hydras, they might seem like glass cannons, but they are not, as the surround comes in from Cyril, attacking both on the bottom left and the bottom right side. Hero going to blink up to the north, trying to escape the situation, but you can see the firepower of this Zerg army levying so much damage on the Hero. You need to retreat from this position, Hero.
Yeah, you need something to kill. Oh, he's trapping.
Squeeze them all up that high ground. The Blink, he doesn't have vision.
He barely
Get
has
one.
vision on the right side. Blinks 3 stalkers just to get enough to retreat, but the damage has already been
He's got
done.
blink one and then the other.
54
Disruptor.
to 108.
Yeah, I think Hero, he could have transitioned off this build, but the moment he committed with the Zealots and the Oracles, he
could have
so
force
many units.
field.
And remember, Cyril is doing a giant attack. He was always planning to do a big attack. Hero got overly aggressive into it, and he's kind of handed beautiful engaged. I mean, that force field is nice. This is Clutch holding on. He is evening it out a little bit. It's just there is an endless
force
wall
field.
reinforcing across the map.
And look at the focus fire by Cyril. Takes down every individual sentry, knowing that really the only way he loses these engagements is his force field sections off his armies. Even battery overcharge is not enough to save that Immortals. It falls almost immediately, but Cyril, not having the concave that he had hoped for, is going to retreat from this position and set his eyes on the 4th base.
Battery overcharge is going to wear
Disruptors
out there,
and
which means
drafts. I
he's
would say
now gonna go for this
disruptors get
4th
more
base, a
job
little more
done, but
exposed.
drafts
Battery in the cannon
help
will
if you
fall.
can afford
Stalkers
both.
come in from behind, but
Because
that
you need
means
something that
Goblins
actually
and Hydras
kills
rallying on
units
top of them.
quick.
An intelligent pullback
Colossus
on
are
the right
good
line
to
for
kind
Cyril as
of
he
kill the
chases these
lings
Stalkers
off,
down.
but they take forever to kill, like Roaches and Hydras, compared to like one big
Those
boom.
5 stalkers cornered here by the Hydras and the Roaches. He's going to trade it
Oh,
out, try
no.
and shave off as many Roaches and Hydras as he possibly can. I mean, he does get his money's worth. At least 3 or 4 units do go down. But the problem is the army Cyril is amassing. More Ravagers, more Lings streaming in. Hydras and Roaches coming together. This 4th base, I think it is not long for this world, Pig.
And not overcomplicating it at all.
Oh,
Cyril
no.
stopped at 65 workers. He made Hydras, he made Roaches, Ravagers, and Zerglings. He defended, and then he went and attacked. He knew that Hero was putting himself in a corner, and Cyril adapted to the opponent and countered it. What he is known for doing over the years, and he does it once again so fantastically. Hero just cannot keep up with the endless reinforcement of Zerg across the map.
Just the early aggression from Hero was not enough, and GG is called, and Cyril shows he is still the man to beat here at DreamHack.
It's Hero.
Review time. What up, Alan?
And just one map win away
Transfuse.
from the playoffs. Representing Basilisk, it is Cero.
It looks like Zerg is a lot more work.
And even
Definitely has some good. You gotta do injects. You gotta do larva.
For the greatest foreign player of all time.
They're the biggest
really,
F2A
what a
move.
tremendous game number one, just absorbing the impact of Hero, rolling with the punches, and really kind of playing
They
the
can
opponent
get so
as
many
well
units
as the map. He did not overcomplicate
flood
things, just
you.
as you said. Going for the Roach Hydra composition, on paper, you know, not the best in a standard PvZ matchup, but against Hero, you kind of know he's going to be the aggressor. You know he's going to attack into you, and Cero was basically pumping.
What forensic files? New forensic files? An hour ago? Oh, I gotta watch
And
it.
Hero is still effectively all in with his 3-base aggression, and you can see how close that game was. Hero is no slouch when it comes to these aggressive plays, but if they don't work in a moment like that one against the composition that Cero is running, the writing is on the wall. You're on a timer.
Yeah, it felt to me like Hero was a little bit on autopilot. I don't think he scouted that the fourth
Yeah,
base
to get
was
a little
gonna
bit of rest.
I think he kind of went, yeah, okay, there's some Hydras.
Yeah, I'll
You're
have to
probably
watch it
trying to go
later.
Hive,
We'll watch
you're
it
trying
together
to go
later.
Lurkers and Vipers.
I have to
Normally
eat
he's
something
so
and
used to
rest
playing
because we're
against
gonna
these
be
Zergs to do
playing
that,
Elden
let's get a
Ring with
second evolution
my friend
chamber,
Doug in
Hive,
about 2 hours.
gases, 75, 80 drones, and yeah, your Blink Stalkers can overwhelm them. But if he had the full context of that, and
I'm just
knew
catching
Cero
up
was
on some of these
65 workers, no
games
mining on his fourth, I mean, it just makes sense to chill.
from this
kind
last
of pick
weekend.
away with the Stalkers, but don't commit with the Zealots. Transition into Storm or some sort of Robo splash damage deck, and I think if Hero made that transition, we would have been forced to see a longer game.
Oh, this
As
is
it
their
first
view.
person views of both players. Hero on the left side of the map, our Protoss player, and of course Cero on the right side. Both players have been known to give viewers on their streams, you know, a little bit of dizziness, a little bit of, oh god, I suddenly feel sick, if you get the motion sickness and that sort of thing, as they do spam around a lot. Cero is very methodical, but as all the young generation is, you'll notice, like, if you study his control groups, they're very fluid. Like, his army groups change around based on the situation.
They
and if you ask
should.
him to explain it, sometimes he gets stumped a bit because it's so fluid, he doesn't even put it into language. He's not like, this is always my main army, that's always my secondary army.
Yeah, it's
There's
never
so many
varies. It
variations
should
within
vary.
there that he adjusts to based on the situation.
Yeah, it should be. That's how I see mechanics. It should vary depending on the situation, so you could utilize all your hotkeys as much as possible. Especially when you get to the point where you know how to use your hotkeys. Then you're like, okay, well, I know how to use all these hotkeys, but when do I use this one? When do I use that one? You don't want to just always say this is always going to be for this unit, because what if you have a game where you don't even make that unit? That key has to be replaced with some other unit or some other building so that you can maximize your hotkeys. So it's nice to hear that Cero is kind of like in that same boat with, you know, you just can't just say this is just always going to be for void raids, this hotkey. It's got to be interchangeable, which makes it more complicated, but to explain, because everybody's going to have their hotkeys and their, you know, their trade-offs. I call them tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 units, you know, where it's like tertiary, what was it? Primary, tertiary, and secondary and tertiary units, which means like there's priority of units for this key. If this unit and this unit are here, this one takes this key. If this one is here but not this one takes the key, kind of thing. Back in Brood War days, you had a hotkey, everything different in any game because of the 2 unit limit. You get used to it. Yeah, exactly. You got a limit. So the art is to be able to use your keys as much as you can in a variety of ways by having something being used. Like one of those keys need to be used. What can I look at the replay and I go, okay, these are the keys I'm not using. What can I do with them? In the beginning of my replay, I look at it and go, what can I use a key for this? It could even be something light, something simple, but it's important to practice it.
Situation.
Hero does basically the same thing in the
Barking
Protoss
at my
version
other
of it,
dog.
which is not use control group and then F2 your army.
What it feels like to be a cheese
Hero's
victim.
actually crazy. His
Oh, I
whole
heard.
system where he's like, I just control group
I
the
know.
thing I
We'll
looked
watch
at
it
last.
later.
I'm like, and I've
Glad
asked
you're
about
liking
it
the
so many
forensic
times,
files,
and every
Alan.
time he's like, oh no, I don't think it's good. It's just this
What
weird
up,
thing I
Doug?
somehow started doing. It's super weird, I know. And I'm like,
I gotta
no
take a break
explanation at all, really?
for a
And he's
little
like,
bit, but I
it's
was
just like a
planning
weird thing. It seems to
to
work for me. And I'm like, okay, Hero, you're actually
ready
just one
like
of the most
around,
unique players when it comes to
11
your
o'clock.
mindset. He's just got his own strange way of playing the game. I love it.
And the funny thing is, he is arguably the best control of Protoss players in the
That
world.
and
I mean,
I'm
he's had
open
a
all
Max
day
Max,
after.
right?
So
It's
good.
insane.
I mean, obviously, yes, like he does handicap himself by using F2 a little bit too much and then having to like fix up orders where he like pulls units out of his wall off and stuff. But there's just something about his fluid ability to handle chaotic situations like 5 or 6
No,
unit
today.
groups that no one else can match Hero.
Wait,
in
we're
that
playing
regard.
today, right?
All right, well, Hero building up back at home, going for a second Oracle. These two Adepts paired with the first Oracle, going to try and find some damage. Cyril's early game defense was effectively impenetrable in game number 1. We'll see if Hero can do better, but, you know, I think actually Hero is showing a lot of respect.
Was it
with this
today
move
or
out
tomorrow?
because Basically every PBZ
Maybe I'm
or
confused.
GSL,
I don't
watch
know.
him in
Maybe
some
it
of
just
the
is it tomorrow or
crowdfunded tournaments such as the KSL, these
Oopsie.
weekly events that happen or bi-weekly events. He's always going something like
Oh,
5 or 6
okay,
events,
yeah,
1 or
okay.
2
Tomorrow,
oracles, trying to get
tomorrow I'll
something
be up
done,
early.
But the fact that he is
Sounds
investing
good.
so
Thought you meant
little
today.
and trying to get the damage, just 2 Adepts. The first Oracle, second Oracle also coming in quite late.
Yeah,
Okay,
take a
here's
break
the
a
other
little
ones,
bit. I
but
gotta eat something.
Generally speaking, Hero a little bit more aggressive with these early game units
Okay,
than he is
Buzz.
here against
Yeah,
Feral. I think partly knowing that
I say Wednesday. I could probably see
something done against this
in the
guy
evening.
compared to everybody else. There's a reason on the
I
cards
gotta
his
download
defense is
the
like,
game.
What, 99?
And he's seeing it as well. This isn't blind reacting. He's seeing the Queens and Lings, and he's going to shade out here.
Yeah, I'm
I believe.
catching up on
He's
some
going
of these
deeper.
games.
Actually, Oracle's going to dive back around to the third base potentially. Adepts going in towards the main. The Lings are tracking
Whoa.
it. Nice cancel into recall. If he can preserve all of these Adepts, what's he spent? A bit of shields. He's wasted mining time, and it's good to not overreact. The problem is, Cyril's still up 10 workers.
Yeah.
Cyril has still done an
What's up,
incredibly
Lindsay? I wish you
smooth early
sometimes
game,
watch
and is
Maru as
finding
Terran.
leads for himself based off of this.
Later
And the really
on,
funny thing is
we
you
could
see
probably
how
watch a
much
Maru
Hero's trying to
game
finesse
from
any
this
damage you could possibly do.
Wow, even
Including
more
a
Adepts.
From
recall
this
with
series.
Shades, with Shades coming to the natural into the main, not able to get anything done, and Cyril just barely missed the wall. He's going to have to cancel that to allow these Lings to flood in. But the Adepts actually working their way into a corner is going to allow those Lings to have to move into another position, and now Hero actually in not the worst spot. Listen to a lot of potential damage that can come in the main base pig. They're talking about that drone count. Look at it, already 4 going down.
They don't have glaives, but they still do good damage against these drones and Zerglings. And look at that, 9 drones going down, forced the Evo chamber cancels to happen as the Warlock didn't get up and finds himself a decent trade out.
What are you doing
after what it
in the
looked
morning?
like an early game that didn't really
Doug?
find the
I
damage.
don't mind in the morning.
So far,
Tomorrow
now,
it
the
should
work
be
count
good.
is dead even. Blink and +1 are both almost finished, whereas +1 range and roach speeds just started for Cyril. Cyril's also getting a little bit close to supply blocked right now as he adds more work as Hero's going straight for a 4th base. We're going to see Gateway Man up against Roaches to start in Game 2. It's going to be a big kind of mass expanding, mass economy, but lots of low-tier units will be clashing for map control.
Yeah, it seems like Cyril is going to be playing a very different game from game number 1, already throwing down that infestation pit pig. And do you think this is going to be him trying to go and do relatively fast hive here? Do you expect to see a couple of infestors who try and get fungals on these stalkers and prevent them from blinking away from the Roach Ling?
I'd love infestors. If it was my man Dark, I think there's actually a chance of that. Cyril, almost 0% chance of infestors coming out, even though a couple of them is not a bad idea. I expect what you said at the start, like fast hive lurkers. I think this is going to be really generic Zerg play. Cyril's up 5 workers. He doesn't have casters on his 4th base just yet, and we are going to find out in a moment which way he will be committing. Stalkers on the front, grab an Overlord blinking away. Real finesse there for Hero as he adds a 2nd Forge, extra gateways, cannon and batteries on the 4th, and there we go. The Hydra Den and the Hive. It is indeed that lurker transition for Cyril, but it's been slowed down a little bit. I like the way Hero's both being greedy and applying pressure. It's a mixed bag. This is not easy for Cyril to handle at all.
Yeah, I think Hero's having one of the best early games he could possibly hope for against a player of Cyril's caliber coming in here, adding in 3 additional gateways, more stalkers going to be reinforcing as he tries to really control the creep spread. He's been doing a great job of it now. Actually,
you know, you're not wrong.
Looks like a bit of an engagement. Maybe not anticipating
You're
quite
not
this
wrong
many
or
stalkers,
right.
but he's able to defuse with just 3 Lings.
It felt like
trap, so?
Yeah, the stasis trap was a little bit so. Oracles though, 5 oracles do take down 4 queens, but at what cost?
My goodness.
He's gonna kill 4 queens for 3 oracles, and that's like it seems like an okay trade if it allows you to then get more damage done, but it doesn't in this case, right? Because you're not really able to clear creep that much here. There's 11 Hydras about to come out. Hero takes a very early 5th base. Wow.
I think he knows that Cyril's going to be on his side of the map for the foreseeable future right now as he's trying to get this layer tech, or not that layer tech, the hive tech with lurkers online. And actually don't mind him trading out 2 oracles for all those queens because he is really just trying to play the map control.
Yeah, Hero's feeling very comfortable with that Stalker,
Hero's game plan moving forward was just trying to delay the 5th base of Cyril for as long as humanly possible. And one good avenue of making that easier later on the road is just controlling the creep spread here as Hero. And once more, another revelation dropped. Queen energy a little bit more sparse, and even with these stalkers, he's trying to find more damage.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, a couple stalkers going down each time, but the Zealots starting to come in now as well. Zealots have +2, so those Zerglings ain't going to do well versus them. But a bunch of them did get surrounded. Stalkers pushing in the right side. The Roach Hydra's ready for it. Zealots are being dealt with in the picture. You can see they are taking out a few Hydras before they go down, but good micro by Cyril. His attention to detail in the midst of that. He pulled 2 Hydras away from the Zealots, kept them alive. Lurkers are now morphing. Second Evos coming into the melee upgrades. And we've got a triple robo transition for Hero. He doesn't want to stay Gateway Man for long.
Triple robo transition here against Hive Tech Lurkers, and it's going to be Cyril Hive Tech Lurkers. Concerns me a little bit because, you know, in theory, on the ground, Zerg wins out with Lurkers against a pure ground-based army unless they're absolutely able to pull them out of position somehow as the Protoss player. And I'm not sure Hero's actually going to be able to make that happen in this situation. And the fact that you're committing the resources to 3 robos means Hero's only path to victory here, it's basically going to be on the ground unless this game goes super late.
I think, you know, Immortal Storm does really well, but when you're this far behind the curve, like you said, like there's going to be like 15 Lurkers and you're going to be getting your first like 5 Immortals out. There's no Storm, there's no Disruptors. A few Disruptors I think would be so good when you're this far behind against Lurkers because you just need something to hold them back.
Oh, those Lurkers doing big.
Lurkers, they're going for the 5th base. They will be cleaned up. And man, Cyril, if he's able to siege down the triangle third here of Hero.
Oh, God.
With these Lurkers, this could be devastating. Wait, is this where the Robos are? There's one right there by the 3rd. Could be a lot of damage.
Oh, those spines, though. They're going down.
Cyril is getting tons of damage done.
Wow, okay, the army's rotating south for Cyril right now. He's going to look for that 5th base.
Oh.
The Lurkers do get caught out, but look at how quickly the Stalkers
But you gotta watch it, yeah. Lurkers just do damage.
I actually feel like Cyril probably could have pushed on
huge
the Robos
damage
on the 3rd.
to Stalkers.
It would have been a risky move, so of course, not Cyril's main way to play, risky. He's still going to take out the 5th base in the south, putting Hero back to 4 base. Hero does cancel a base up north with Zealot. Immortal Stalker running in. I don't think there's enough numbers here for Hero, though. The Immortals are going to get taken out. Zealot's trying to warp in on the left side, but the Immortals are already gone.
Immortals are gone. Most of the Lurkers were being able to get cleaned up right there. And look at the worker count, 71 to 84. So losing the 5th base here for Hero. He still does have the fallback plan of the 4th, but I'm concerned about the army that Cyril
But the army just got wiped, though.
Like Hero is stabilized here on the front lines. Cyril has 114 army supply, only 70 drones and nearly maxed, and that's where it is, right there on screen. 5 Zealots, 4 Mortals, 3 Archons. I don't think you stop these Lurkers.
That is just so many Lurkers, and you need like, got 8 Immortals and some Psystorm and a good flank to deal with this. These are things that Hero does not have right now. Cyril's preparation in the early game, the details allowing him to navigate all of that chaos, all of that harassment that Hero normally gets ahead of. It just puts him at best in an even position against Cyril. That is the power of Cyril. Now with Master Lurker sieging this base, 1 Lurker goes down, but those Immortals are already almost gone.
And the SimCity even working against Hero a little bit as he was trying to get an arc on those Lurkers. And with these 4 Archons coming on the top right side, he might just try and find the angle to attack in. Cyril retreats.
More Lurkers are being made.
So good at pulling out when he thinks he's about to get flanked. He's so good about those unburrows on the Lurkers. Roach Hydra there pushing in a little bit. Ling starting to come in on the Archon flank and get taken out. The Lurkers moving forward in sections. It's like a giant tank push. Very hard to deal with for Protoss.
Hell yeah, it is. There's a lot of Lurkers.
He says, you know what, I can't fight that front on. Let's go across the map. A sure sign of desperation for the Protoss.
I'm not sure this is going to be the winning play. It's just so many Lurkers, even with these more Immortals reinforcing here on the 3rd base. I don't know if he can actually hold on back at home. And look, there's even Lurkers at home. here for Cyril. They will get cleaned up as there's 5 Immortals and a ton of Archons taking down this third base, but really Hero very soon will be reset down to basically no economy, to basically no production. He's losing Robos, he's losing gateways here on the front line. And I'm not sure this is gonna be enough here for Hero. He is getting a lot of damage done on Cyril's side of the map, but is there a world where this is going to be enough, Pig?
We just need a mothership
Oh no.
in from the edge of the map, from a different map, recall.
We know what's gonna happen now. Spoilers.
Trouble, but right now, Cyril just has a massive
The game's gonna be over.
Part of his army, and yet he's engaging anyway.
Alright. I gotta get some rest for a little bit. Later on, we're gonna be playing Last of Us, but we're gonna play StarCraft first. So in a couple hours, I'll come back. We'll play StarCraft till the midday. Then I gotta eat after that again, and then come back and play some Last of Us. So give me about an hour and a half for some more StarCraft. Oh, GG's, guys. Cyril wins. This art, yeah, you like the artwork? Yeah. Alright, see you guys in a few hours. Yeah, I did a little bit of art. Did my own little... I have a drawing tablet, remember? What up, George? I gotta go. I'll be back in an hour and a half. See you guys soon. I gotta eat. Saludos. George, voy a descansar por como unas 2 horas y luego voy a regresar. Voy a jugar más StarCraft cuando regreso. Pero necesito descansar por un poco. GG's lifetime. See you guys soon.